Happy Monday, everyone. Hello. Welcome to ItsKim Live. If you've not seen me before, hi. I am ItsKim. I'm a pop culture commentator, and I like to talk about stories that I care about and give my opinion. You may have seen me from around the internet, but this is where I live. This is my home, and this is my live show that we do a couple of times a week. This is an interactive show where I give my opinion, but I also communicate with my community, who we call the Space Angels. So, hello to all of my Space Angels. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to see you. Um, and if you are watching on the replay, no worries. There's a top comment that is pinned under this video that goes through all the timestamps of all the important stuff. So if you don't want to hear me ramble about absolutely everything, you are welcome to be selective and pick a specific spot you want to go to, or you're welcome to watch this show in its entirety. But I'm so happy you're here. Today we are going to be talking about the Cassie slash Diddy situation. So I am going to just say right off the bat, guys, YouTube human reviewer, I have gone to great lengths with this story to make sure that this is going to be appropriate for the YouTube community guidelines. I will not be saying any trigger words. And unfortunately, that means some of the things that I'm going to say are going to sound absolutely ridiculous because I have to use code words. I don't like doing this, but this is the platform that I stream on, and I have to follow other people's rules. So please know that any of the wording that I am not using to try to downplay the severity or the seriousness of the topics we are talking about. It is because I don't want to get in trouble. And YouTube human reviewers, if you are watching this at all, I would strongly encourage you to please consider looking at your guidelines when it comes to these situations. Because as much as I understand that you're trying to keep your advertisers happy, it also hurts survivors because it really makes what we went through, our reality, seem less serious because it is serious. And the more that we keep these situations in the dark, the easier it is for them to continue. And that's why situations like this sometimes pain me to talk about because I want to be honest about everything. I want to say everything, but I can't. So that's where we are at. I am joined today by my co-pilot, my partner in crime, my bestie, my sister, producer sister is on the other side of my hands right now, who has put together a saga for us today for the what section. In this show, we generally talk about the main headline that we are talking about, any other news stories. Then we have a halftime where we just talk about stuff as a community. Then we go into the what section, which is just fun. And we have a lot of fun here with sagas. And I am so excited to start this one today. And I hope you guys will have fun with it. I think it's important, even when we talk about tough stuff, that we have, you know, moments where we can recover a little bit, I guess, where we can just laugh and have a good time because we need to do that for our own mental health and sanity. I also want to let you guys know it is freezing cold. And I don't know if I've ever shared this with you guys, but I have something called Raynaud's phenomenon, which means that my blood doesn't always come to my extremities the way that they should. That includes my hands. My hands are very cold and I am doing my best. So if you see me rubbing my hands or doing anything like that, that's what it is. I'm just trying to, not be in pain. That's all. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure that all things are good here. 20. Alrighty. Now, the last thing I want to say before we get into our topic, because I know some of you are asking, Lacey, can you say hello to everyone? The bear is here. The bear is doing very well. She's healing. She had surgery last week and is doing fantastic. And I just wanted to say thank you for all of you for your well wishes, your prayers, and your love for this little girl. I was laughing my head off because literally Saturday, like 2 days after, she's looking at me like, why aren't we going to work? Yesterday, I had to come down here to do some stuff preparing for today's show because I've literally been preparing for today's show since this news broke. It's been days. And she demanded to come and sit in her chair, like the one here that you guys got for her. She wanted to go back to routine so badly. And I know that she is so happy to be back in the swing of things. And she is watching your chat right now. So, yes, she is doing fantastic. And thank you very much. Good girl. Oh yes, she's still a bit sleepy. She's still on meds that are making her a little bit sleepy, and she will be for a bit, but she's doing really, really well. So I figured you guys would want to see that. I also have to give some shout outs to support. Holy crapola to start. Thank you so much to the incredible General Scott again for gifting one and then gifting another 5 memberships. So that brings us up to 6 memberships so far this stream. Hello to the new Space Angels. Welcome. There's lots of exclusive content just for you on the main page, including members only streams. Like we did one when Lacey was having surgery because I was a mess and it was a lot of fun. But I also make a lot of other content there. It's a lot of fun. So if you're interested in joining membership, please consider that. And if it's not something that you are able to do right now, please feel free to allow gifts on your account because people do tend to gift memberships up in here and we have a really good time. So please consider doing that if you have not. Also, thank you so much to Aria for the super sticker of the hippos popping up, as well as Denise for her hippo that's one up, and Kyle and Katie and Tyrana all doing the dancing hippo, which I love. Thank you very, very much. I am loving that the hippos are becoming a thing. I was actually laughing. I don't know if I can go back to it now in the chat if it's gonna let me, but I saw Denise being like, fill this chat with hippos. And that made me laugh really hard. So thank you very much for that. You guys are amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, I think that brings us up to date. I think we're good. I think we can start. Okay. Let me double check here. Oh, King Bob. Denise is recovering from cataract surgery that she just had. She's also doing great. That's fantastic, King Bob. My best wishes to Denise, to your queen, and I hope that all is going well for her as well. Okay. All right, I think I've said everything. Other than, if you haven't liked this video, please consider liking this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I would very much appreciate it. And let's get into this dumpster fire. Why don't we? This is so much fun. I did want to let you guys know, as we are going to be talking about some uncomfortable things with this, some stuff that can be really difficult for some people. Some of this might be hard to hear. And I'm going to do my best to do it in a way that is not as in your face and is comforting and all those types of things as much as I can. However, this situation is unfortunately what. If you are feeling triggered, if you're having difficulty with this, that's okay. It's fine. And I have a doc in the description. It's at the very top, and it is full of links for support for if you're struggling with this and you need to talk to somebody. So please exercise self-care. Exercise self-care and don't be afraid to reach out for help if you need it because this stuff is difficult. I'm curious in the chat how many of you are very aware of this story so far. If you want to put a 1 in the chat and let me know if you know about this case, if you have kind of dug into this case, let me know. I would just love to see what we are dealing with because I think it's important that everybody knows. I know I'm seeing a few people being like, yeah, you guys have seen it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So if you haven't heard a huge amount about this case, or if you have heard a lot about this case, please be aware that I have researched this. Essentially, I've gotten to a point, I had to say to producer sister yesterday, I have to stop because if I don't, like I can't get a doctorate in this whole thing in a couple of days. So we're going to explain all of this and attempt to have context for all of it because that is something that I try to do. I try to dive into context, go below the headline. Let's look at the whole picture of this before we make any judgments. So this stream is going to include speculation and opinion and should not be taken as fact. I am not a legal expert. I do not know these people. This is my opinion and what I see based on my research and what I've come to understand. If you're ever curious about what that is, I have a doc in the description, the sources doc. And currently for this show, I have 38 sources. And I could have gone deeper. So if you are questioning something I have to say, feel free to take a look through those sources. I very likely got it from that information. And please do your own research for yourself. Also, hello, human YouTube reviewer. Nothing explicit is going to be shown, and I'm going to do my absolute best to follow your community guidelines. And viewers, please do not send hate to anyone. It's not cute. Opinions are one thing, and we're allowed to have them, but don't do anything that is going to cause harm to people. It's just not cute. I don't like it, and I would prefer if you did not. So, last week, a lawsuit was filed by Cassie Ventura against Sean Combs. So, let's explain this. What is the summary of this case? Again, I could not use an article for this because it was like a minefield of terms. So, please forgive me with any of the code words I'm having to be using. I hope you guys understand why. So, hip hop artist and / head of Bad Boy Records, Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, or Love, or the artist formerly known as any of those names, has been sued by R&B singer Cassie Ventura, also known as Cassie. Thank you, Cassandra, for looking about Cassie. For R and repeated physical A over a decade. Cassie, who was signed to Combs' label, Bad Boy, was in a romantic relationship with him. She was 19 years old and he was 37. Cassie claims in this lawsuit that he controlled and aided her, including giving her chemicals, hurting her physically multiple times a year, and forcing her to have relations with male adult workers while Combs watched and filmed, both photo and video. Ventura alleges that she was a victim of ST. And if you don't know what T is, I want you to envision a lot of cars on a highway. What would you call that? That's T. So she was a victim of ST because of these encounters. And she would take the chemicals that she was given to dissociate from the things that she was forced to do. Some of these events were linked to masquerade parties. We're going to come back to that, as well as taking place in hotels around the United States. Combs allegedly called these events freak offs. Are we clear on what I have just said? I know I sound absolutely ridiculous, and we're going to continue to sound absolutely ridiculous. YouTube, please. Human reviewer, please, please, please. Okay. We're not done. The suit then goes on to describe several incidents of A, including one in which Mr. Combs allegedly used his foot to harm Miss Ventura repeatedly in the face. She also claims that in 2018, Combs forced his way into her home and arred her. The suit also alleges that Combs blew up rapper Kid Cudi's car in a rage of jealousy. Combs denies these allegations and has accused Ventura of attempting to extort him for $30 million. Ventura's lawyer says that she turned down Combs' monetary offer to silence her. The suit also claims that others who have worked with Combs helped him control Ventura and cover up his behavior. She was reportedly too afraid to go to the police. The suit includes accounts of Ms. Ventura's unsuccessful attempts to escape Mr. Combs' control. So, this dropped and everybody went absolutely crazy. Like it would the media just went absolutely ballistic, and it's understanding as to why. And what I want to really try to just hammer home with you guys is there is so much context we have to get into, which is why I had to do this way. Less than a day after this lawsuit was filed, Diddy settled. Now, I want to be clear. Settlement is not an admission of guilt, nor is it an admission from the side that accused that the other party, they didn't really do anything wrong. That's not the case. And I can tell you that as someone who has settled a legal case myself. Me settling in no way was me saying to the other party, it's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. The case was a civil matter that was about money. That's the bottom line. This is similar, and we're going to get more into that in a few minutes. And I understand why there's criticism potentially at Cassie, but I hope by the time we get through all of this, you might see it from a different perspective if there is criticism that you have towards Cassie. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to show my bias. I'm standing with Cassie. I believe Cassie. And I'm going to explain why. So, according to People magazine, Diddy and Cassie settled their lawsuit on Friday. And they announced that they resolved the claims in the lawsuit to their mutual satisfaction. And the parties added that there will be no further details about the terms of the agreement released publicly. So we're going to know absolutely nothing. All right. So Cassie said in a statement, I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. That's key. I want to thank my family, my friends, and lawyers for their unwavering support. Her attorney said, I'm very proud of Miss Ventura for having the strength to go public with her lawsuit. She ought to be commended for doing so. Combs added, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love. Now, that kind of everybody went, oh, so there's just no denial whatsoever then from Diddy. Okay. All right. So then Combs's lawyer had to clarify, saying, just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, okay, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best. All right. So at this time, after all of my research, I have no reason to not believe Cassie. And here's something I just kind of want to explain because I know a lot of you got to know me because of some of the coverage I did on the Johnny Depp trial. And I am a survivor myself of CSA. And so my default is normally I believe survivors because it's incredibly difficult to come forward with any of these claims ever. It is embarrassing. It is such a difficult thing to do and it's traumatizing. It's horrible. And it's something that we don't most survivors don't want to do this. We feel like we have to at some point, or it's a part of our healing or whatever. We would rather the whole thing have not happened at all. And we certainly don't want a whole bunch of people up in our private business about the worst thing that ever happened to us. And so for that reason, I would much rather believe a liar than a predator, if that makes sense. However, the second I start seeing stuff that I'm like, things aren't adding up, I will start to look at evidence. And I do consider the evidence from the accused. Always. We have to do this fairly. People are innocent until proven guilty. We have to be fair. But here's the thing. I have a lot of reasons to be concerned about Combs. And I'm sorry he has so many names, but I'm going to try to refer to him as Combs for the sake of simplicity. Here we go. So, Sean Combs has a criminal history, and we're going to go through some of it. And I stress some of it because every time I kept looking, I found more things. Former LAPD investigator Greg Cadling claims that Combs was involved in the M's of Tupac Shakur and Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls. Cadling alleges that Combs hired gang members to carry out the crime. Various rappers have also alleged Combs' involvement, notably 50 Cent and Eminem. This has been a thing for years, in these communities that people have talked about. And I mean, one way or the other, it's going to come to the forefront because currently there is a trial pending for the M of Tupac. And it's looking like the person that, pulled the, the activating piece on the pew pew was paid off to do so. This is going to go through courts. This is bad news for Mr. Combs, and we will see where that goes. In 1997, Combs was charged with A-ing a music executive. They settled, but Combs attended anger management classes. The executive feared for his life during this altercation and sustained significant injury. It is unclear whether or not that significant injury was a broken arm or a broken jaw. I can't figure out which one it is. It's very difficult. There's a lot of conflicting information, and it's really hard to pull up articles from 1997, in all fairness, so I did my best. Reportedly, Combs called the executive after the attack and said, "Whatever happened, happened, but as a man, I apologize to you." So I guess everything's fine then. Everything's great. That's all we needed, right? Right? It's fine? Are we fine? This is fine. Everything's fine. He apologized as a man. Okay. Now, in 1998, he and then girlfriend, Ms. Jennifer Lopez, I'm sorry, I always think of the South Park thing, and I mean, much respect to her, but of course, whenever I look at these really dark, horrible things, my brain immediately tries to go into humor, and yeah, I'm sorry. He and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were arrested for criminal possession of and here's the next fun code word I have to use, pew pew. But he was found not guilty. We will go more in depth about this event in a few minutes. In 2015, he was arrested for A-ing a football coach with a kettlebell. But the charges were dropped. And in 2017, he was sued by a former personal chef for sexual harassment. Okay, so we're doing great. We're doing great. This is the first slide of this section. We're going to keep going, all right? So the nightclub incident is the one in 1999. And let me set the scene for you. Sean Combs and his then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez and his protege rapper Shine, who was going to have a record be dropping like very shortly, if not around that time, and he was being hailed as like the next big huge thing. They were at Club New York in Times Square when pew pew fire broke out. YouTube human reviewer, I swear. I swear, like I'm sorry, and I know there's going to be people that criticize me for my tone right now. They're going to be like, "How can you be laughing at something so ridiculous?" I'm laughing because I have to say pew pew when I'm talking about very serious things.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Okay. All right. So the prosecutor said that the incident was sparked by an argument at the club between Combs and another patron, Matthew Scar Allen, who allegedly threatened Shine's life. So this dude threatens Diddy's protege. They start arguing. The event left 3 people wounded severely and sent other patrons scrambling for cover. Combs was arrested on a weapons charge after being questioned about the event at the nightclub. Okay. Prosecutors charged Combs, Allen, and Shine all drew their pew pews. Okay. Prosecutors believe that Shine used his pew pew 3 times and had wounded 3 people. Shine claims that he acted in self-defense. He aimed into the air and didn't believe the shots hurt anyone. An eyewitness and ballistics expert testified that it was possible the 3 injuries were not caused by Shine, as the wounds and the seashells found at the scene were not consistent with Shine's pew pew. which does cause reasonable doubt. Combs was later acquitted of all pew-pew charges and bribery charges stemming from the incident. Shine, on the other hand, was found guilty and served 9 years in prison. Which, to me, looking through this case now, when I'm like, but how is it even possible? How is that even possible? When you really look at the case, like I was just like poring over all of this information and going, I do not understand how this happened. I don't understand how he was found guilty to this day. Shine has accused Combs of betraying him for not providing any support after the incident. Shine claims that Combs distanced himself from him and did not help with his legal fees despite their close relationship. And Shine felt that Combs allowed witnesses to lie to protect himself. And soon after that, Shine's contract with Bad Boy Records was ended. This in itself could be a week's worth of content. This is like an oversimplified, I can't even get into everything. There is so much shady about this case. And it's a bit disturbing the further you look into it. So, in recent months, other suspicious things have been going on. There's been some sus, particularly with this. In recent months, Combs has been giving back publishing rights to artists on his label. This has been viewed as a very odd thing to do for him because this is a thing that has been going on for years, like 30 plus years, that artists have been begging him for the publishing rights of their own work. One artist, actually, if I'm remembering this correctly, offered him $2 million to get his publishing rights. And he was like, nah. So he has owned the publishing rights for pretty much everybody who has released music under Bad Boy Records. So he's profiting off of this regularly. These artists can't. They want their work back. He's not letting him do that. And then one day in September, he wakes up and goes, I'm going to give everybody their publishing rights. After 30 years of being like, no. It's been 30 years, like, since you've been gone. I don't even know what's happening with that, but it was very weird. So there was a lot of speculation that he was doing this to distract from something else. Okay? So, keeping in mind this is September, we're in November, lawsuit dropped, Thursday, I think it was. Danity Kane, which is a girl group that was created by Combs through a reality show Making the Band, a member of Danity Kane, Aubrey O'Day, revealed that in order to get the rights back to their music, they would have to sign an NDA, wherein she couldn't talk negatively about Diddy and the company. Oh! Why would Diddy not want anyone speaking badly of him? Why would he want all of these artists that have worked with him or have known him for over 30 years to not be able to say anything? I have no idea. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Since other members of the group have confirmed what O'Day alleged, O'Day did not sign the NDA and has voiced her support loudly for Cassie. And I literally have a picture here of a tweet she put out on the 16th talking about all this drama with Cassie, literally captioned from her on Twitter. I stay trying to tell y'all. Okay? Another Danity Kane member, Dawn Richards, tweeted in support of Cassie as well, saying, praying for Cassie and her family for peace and healing. You are beautiful and brave. Prior to the foundation of Danity Kane, both Richards and O'Day competed in Combs' hit show Making the Band 3. And during the finale of one of the shows, Combs revealed that O'Day, Aubrey, had been kicked out of the band. And reportedly, Aubrey claimed on the Call Her Daddy podcast in 2022 that she was fired because she wasn't willing to do what was expected of her, not talent-wise, but in other areas. Okay. Now, there's still more drama with Diddy. We're not done. Diddy's ex Kim Porter, Combs' ex, Kim Porter, was unfortunately found deceased in her home a number of years ago. Rumors started swirling. She reportedly passed of pneumonia. Um, However, her ex, Albie Schur, alleged that Combs had something to do with it. And shortly after, for some unknown reason, Albie Schur fell ill and was in a coma. Rumors continued to swirl about this as well. And these are just some of the tweets that I saw come out on the 16th and 17th, being like, hey, remember this? Maybe this is why Cassie was scared to come forward. There also were some rumors that Kim was writing a book. And there may have been some things in that book that Combs didn't want coming out. Again, alleged. Other rumors about Combs. Like, it's just, I keep thinking I'm done and I'm not. And it's like, how does this keep going? But it does. It does. Combs has been accused of shady business dealings for years, allegedly ripping off a lot of artists that he's worked with. He has allegedly profited off of these artists under his label and not paid them what they deserve, leaving them in poverty while he lived in luxury. This has given him a terrible reputation in the music industry, and Combs' net worth is an estimated $1 billion. There are lots of rumors also about Combs' wild parties, where I'm just going to say stuff happened. Stuff happened. I can't get in any more detail than that. YouTube, I'm trying. Stuff happened. And something that is called Puffy Flavor Camp. The way that I would have been better in my life not knowing about this, I cannot.
Why are you sharing it?
Oh, no, I'm sharing it with everybody because if I got to know this, if we got to know this to look at the full context of this and to defend this woman, we're gonna. But ew. I don't want to know. You shouldn't have told me, but you did. And now I'm telling you, you don't want to know. Combs exposed, at that time, a 13-year-old Usher to these events. And when Usher was asked about it, and if he would let his children go to Puffy Flavor Camp, he responded, bad place, no. Another ex of Combs, Virginia V, has also accused him of other exes have allegedly come forward, but it's hard to find concrete information in all honesty. And I was on day 3 of research at this point, guys. I was tired. And I really couldn't find anything that was like slam dunk, got it. Okay, we can use this. We can make it its own slide type thing. Combs' preferences have also been a topic of discussion as well. Preferences. Allegedly, an executive at Bad Boy Records walked in on Combs having intimate relations with an upcoming male artist that he was signing. And when she asked him later why he left the door unlocked, Combs allegedly said, here we go. I'll do whatever the F I want to do in my building. It's power, see? If I could make a man suck my D, I can make people do anything for money. So I want to be clear, and I have it in a little like fine printy note here, in all honesty. I don't have an issue with Combs doing anything with guys. I really don't care. I don't care about anything that is consensual between adults. It's not my business. And I don't honestly, I'd rather not know because it's not I don't want people freaking out about, or knowing stuff in my personal life that I don't want to share with people. I mean, nothing that crazy, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's no one's business. It is nobody's business. But my issue is that this is basically what Weinstein did. And he's just openly being like to an executive, like, yep, I'm doing that because I got that much power. If that is true, like, again, this is an alleged from an insider that was a whistleblower that let people know this. Look, what is happening? Why? Producer sister, what's wrong? Oh my gosh, for you.
You also missed a gem from Houston. I'll tell you that after.
Scott, I love you. It's a moment. And one of the last things I have here about Mr. Combs is, and I have to bring this up because I am a Toronto girl, there are also eyewitnesses that claim that Combs once struck rapper Drake 3 times and put him in the hospital. Combs has denied these claims, but there are multiple eyewitnesses. And yes, Sage Warrior, you are 100% correct. I do believe that Diddy hired Weinstein's lawyer. That's what we're dealing with, guys. This is the yikes alarm should be going off. Yikes, yikes, yikes. I saw Jules just said, "What did Drake say?" I don't think he said anything. I don't blame him. I don't know if I'd say anything either, in all fairness. So we have established that Combs has a history. At least I hope I've established that he has a history. But that doesn't mean that what Ventura is saying is true, right? Two things can be true at the same time. Someone can be a garbage person and another person can be a liar. But here is where I feel like Ventura has some credibility, and we're going to go into this. So, to start, if it went to court, she would have to prove her claims were true. One damning claim already has very, very credible evidence, and multiple others have witnesses. So, a lot of, I don't want to get super into it, but there have definitely been people who have come forward that have said, no, I've seen him do things to her. I saw the aftermath of it, or I saw it happen. So, there absolutely would be people that could take the stand in court to corroborate her story. But on top of that, the car explosion with rapper Kid Cudi, a spokesperson for Cudi confirmed that yes, this is all true. His car did get blown up. This is real. So there's a star witness for you right there. And if we believe that this person is, like, Diddy is capable of blowing up somebody's car because he's jealous, that kind of speaks volumes as to what else he is capable of doing. So I think this alone would have gone a really long way with her in a jury trial. That's just my opinion. After Combs' lawyers said that Combs denied the offensive and outrageous allegation, Ventura's lawyers hit back, saying that Combs offered her at least $10 million to make her not file this case. If it was just about the money, I think she would have taken the $10 million, but she didn't. She wanted the world to know what he did. And she did. And now he can't touch her ever again. And she got her money. Good for her. Now, I can't authenticate some of this, so I would classify it as speculation. I've gone through a lot of comment sections, a lot of Reddit posts, and I've also even gotten some DMs from people who have talked about their experiences in regards to Combs, and some have been very disturbing. Now, I am not saying that every single one of those hearsay things is true, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. But I think we know that sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire, and there is a lot of smoke. Like, I can't see. There's a lot of smoke. Now, I want to say specifically about the masquerade parties. Remember how I said we get back to that? There have been rumors of masquerade parties and these weird parties that Combs has thrown for years. Years and years and years and years and years, as well as his behavior in adult matters, which again, I normally would not care about, but the second non-consensual behavior comes into play, I'm not cool with it. And many of Cassie's claims validate many of these rumors that have been circulating for years. Not to mention, this is something that popped into my head immediately. Cassie may have actually alluded to this in song lyrics she wrote over a decade ago. So this is from the song The Boys. That's actually Nicki Minaj's song featuring Cassie. However, originally, I believe it was a demo that Cassie wrote specifically for her own album. And the beat got picked up. It didn't get released under her specifically. Nicki probably liked the beat and they went for it. And Nicki kept her on as a featured artist. And these are some of Cassie's lyrics that were also, I believe, in the original demo of her song. So your lipstick stain smells like a cheap hotel. Diamond watches and a gold chain. Can't make my frown turn around. You get an F a bunch of girls and then cry on top of the world. I hope you have the time of your life, and I hope I don't lose it tonight. Your bossed up swag got him drooling like a newborn babe. The dollars in they eyes got him blinded by a masquerade. I'm sorry, I have trouble believing that that's a coincidence. I just don't. But she does really paint a scene here of like someone having a lot of money and getting whatever they want, but they're still miserable and just that constant wanting more. But I mean, newborn babe masquerade, that's a deliberate rhyme. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's my opinion. Based on this lawsuit, Ventura has physical issues due to the abuse that she endured. She mentions that an MRI scan that she had at one point was directly sent to Combs when they were together. He allegedly tried to cover his tracks with her when he was nasty. For example, keeping her in a hotel for days after the A happened so her bruises would heal without people seeing her. I would assume that some of the physical effects would have how do I word this? When you are injured, depending on the injury, sometimes even after you heal, certain scans will pick up prior injury. For example, my dad and I were in a car accident a number of years ago, and in the accident, he hit his head on the window, like, of the driver's side door. And later, he had a scan done of his whole body, to do with the cancer that he fought. He's now in remission. But they came back and said they needed to do further testing because when they did the scan, they saw basically what looked like a shadow around this area. And they asked him if it was possible that he had any prior injury to that area of any kind. Um, and we told them that there was the accident. They went and they did a bit more testing to ensure that it wasn't potentially a brain tumor. And they were able to come back and say, it's non-cancerous. It is from a traumatic injury that happened to your head. So there it be. We can see it. We can see it on the scan. So my point is that um, judging by what she has alleged in these lawsuits, there would be physical proof that she could show in medical tests. Because as something we learned through Depp v. Heard, sorry, Lacey's hearing somebody outside. Because of what we learned through Depp v. Heard, therapy notes, because they are essentially someone coming into a doctor's office and saying, this is what happened, it is hearsay. Producer sister. Sorry, we're going to have to let Lacey say hello. Someone's popped into the other room. My apologies, everyone. Lacey has to say hello to everyone always. Okay, so I have seen chatter about pictures of Ventura as well that have come out from her years ago where there are injuries to her face. I have seen those. It certainly looks like she would have had enough physical evidence that would have been credible in the case, which would have caused an issue for Combs's team. So this brings into the conversation, why settle? Because it definitely does seem like Cassie had a very strong case, and definitely had people that would speak in her corner about what a garbage person Combs was. I'm sure she'd be able to find some people who would be willing to talk. But realistically, there were good reasons to settle. And I really want to give a massive, 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 massive shout out to Natalie, the lawyer chick. I have the links to her 2 latest streams in my source document. I tried to see if I could get sorry. Oh, sorry, I just got a notification from YouTube. That's fun. We just got limited. YouTube YouTube human reviewer. I'm trying. I don't know how much I could have tried any harder. I'm doing my best, man. Ugh. Okay. So Natalie gave incredible insight into this. She's a criminal defense attorney, and is absolutely wonderful. And I so value the education that she was giving in this case. And I would strongly recommend, if you want to know more about this case and really hear legal expertise on it, please check out her streams. They are well worth it. But she brought up a lot of good points. And so through this are some of the points that she brought up that I agree with, as well as some of just things that my speculation, leads me to think. So why settle? Well, let's start. Both sides had very good reasons to settle. And it's really important to remember that this is a civil lawsuit. A lot of people are like, well, if she settled, now he can't go to jail. Well, he was never going to jail in the first place because of this lawsuit, because it was a civil lawsuit. Civil lawsuits are entirely about money. There are no criminal charges. That is a totally separate investigation. And we'll talk more about that a bit later, I think. Basically, the state or the feds have to make the decision of whether or not someone is going to be charged. That is up to them entirely. Cassie has absolutely no power in that whatsoever. So the end goal of this case for the survivor is clear. In a lot of cases, it is financial compensation, as well as putting on the record what the person did to them. So, in my opinion, she did it. She got it. Um, so civil suits are an option for people that can pursue justice even if the police are not involved. Healing is expensive. Cassie's lawsuits explain that she has lasting health effects, mental and physical, that she has been receiving care for. And if what Cassie's alleged is true, Combs should absolutely have to pay for the treatments that she has received and any future treatments that she will need, similar to a personal injury lawsuit, right? There's if somebody, if there's a car accident or, personal injury of any kind type thing, that if you sue them, that doesn't mean that they're going to prison, even if they did something illegal. That's not up to you. This is solely about money. And since they've settled, if Combs were to retaliate, remember Kim? Allegedly, it would put him in a terrible position that would likely spark a criminal investigation, which Combs does not want. He's already having to deal with the Tupac thing, okay? Discovery for him in this case could have been devastating, because you got to keep in mind, not only is this personal, Cassie was on Diddy's label. So if they had any questions about what was going on with the financials and potentially all the shady stuff he was doing with the artist, this would have been discovered as well. Again, not good. Not good. My speculation. Settling also saves Cassie from having to relive her trauma in front of the world, not to mention the photos and videos that likely would have been turned over in discovery. Now, remember how I said when she was experiencing ST that Diddy filmed it? She does talk about that there were some of these images, videos that she believed had been deleted. And then as a power play, he showed them to her later just to remind her of what he had on her, essentially. So, my speculation on this, and this is solely mine, this is my opinion, this is my speculation. I would not be surprised if the videos slash photos were a part of this settlement, and quite possibly speculation that Cassie might actually own them now. And I want to explain this because when we were watching Depp v. Heard, we learned that for any outlet to publish a video, the original copyright holder has to sell or give permission to the outlet. The person filming is the copyright holder. So in this case, Combs would have held the copyright to these images and to these videos. So Combs would have been in the right to sell these to the highest bidder. And spicy celeb tapes are a big market. If Cassie has the copyright, if Combs were to retaliate by releasing them, or if they had a settlement agreement that nothing would come of it, and he did, that would be illegal, and Cassie could take action. So, in my opinion, it's possible that Combs thought that he had the power to keep Cassie silent due to shame. And Natalie, the lawyer chick, brought up this, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And she said it was almost like he was potentially utilizing the mutual assured destruction option. So again, this whole thing, I just really want to stress, like, this is my speculation, this is my opinion, this is not proven. We don't know any of the details about the settlement. But what I'm trying to explain is some reasons why I could see a survivor settling in a case like this. And just so you guys understand, mutual assured destruction is a theory, method, thing that is used amongst world leaders and military. And again, I really have to watch my words on this front. Some countries have really, really big, what I'm going to call mushroom pew pews, right? They could cause a lot of damage very quickly. But you're not going to fire a mushroom pew pew at a country that also has a mushroom pew pew. Because what happens? That country fires back mushroom pew pew. And then all of a sudden, you have no country for either of them. And you've just ignited an absolute disaster. You don't like it's so neither party does anything because we don't want that. Does that make sense? Are you guys on the same page with me? You guys get what I mean? Let me know if you get what I mean. So, today, I'm sure some of you ladies and gentlemen have noticed that there is a very popular theme right now of judging women for the amount of partners or the things that they have done in the past of an intimate nature against them. So, the idea of body count, oh my gosh, I hate that so much. But just this idea that whatever a woman does affects her value and whether or not she deserves to be respected in a relationship. So, Combs held in his hands with that content proof proof of things that she had done that he could then use against her. But the moment that Cassie filed that lawsuit and exposed what he had done and did not come forward with shame, came forward with, I survived. I survived. I was forced. All these terrible things happened to me. She took the power back. Combs had nothing anymore. Nothing. Because there's no shame in what someone did because they feared for their life. There's no shame for the things that people did to survive. And I can tell you, I think at least women, for the most part, we all get this. We wouldn't be shaming her for any of that. I do not think any less of Cassie as a person for what she has alleged that she went through. I actually view her as an incredibly strong woman, an incredibly brave, strong woman. So, yeah, she's, she took back that power. And now, if those tapes or images leak, the only one who is going to hold shame is Combs. So, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. So, my last point I wanted to bring up because I have heard this being said and I want to be very clear about it. Combs's lawyer has claimed that this was a shakedown. That Cassie just wanted 30 million to block publishing of a tell-all book. Now, to the best of my knowledge and my research, this information has only come from Combs's side. I have seen nothing from Cassie saying that there was a book. Nothing. And I wanted to bring this up because I thought this was very interesting. When Combs had the altercation with the record executive, he claimed that the executive wanted a $50 million settlement, but finally settled for $12 million. The executive said this when he was asked about it. I never ever asked Puffy for 12 million or 50 million. I don't even know what he's talking about. I see Combs as a gangster in the music business. Everyone is afraid of him. This is a guy who cries about his friend, Notorious B.I.G., publicly and promotes peace, but he has a dark history. So I guess what I want to say is that when it comes to the book thing, I want to see the receipts because I don't see anything that proves to me that she did actually do this, but I do have evidence on the other side that tells me that Diddy would say things that weren't true. Now, the other thing I just want to close with, guys, because I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed that this is not going to go to trial because there was hope that people who have also been hurt by him would would be able to get justice. That this would open the doors for people to come forward. And it very well may have. We don't know that yet. But criminal charges, which was never a part of what this case was, can take years to come to light. With someone like Combs that has so much history, if the police are going to press charges, they need a slam dunk case. These alleged crimes happened across state lines, so this would likely be a federal investigation, and that takes a lot of time. For example, in the case of Danny Masterson that we just went through that whole thing, right? The 3 women filed allegations against him in 2017, and he was not charged until 2020 and then did not stand trial until this year. Criminal proceedings take a long time, which is why sometimes also I think settlements are an option sometimes in civil because they're not holding out for the person to go to jail. They're holding out for the person to pay up for what they've done. And if they're going to wait for the criminal proceedings to happen, they could be waiting years. And this way, Cassie has now protected herself. I honestly see this for me when I look at this now with all of the context, understanding Combs's history, the real threats that Cassie was probably struggling with. She played chess. She made her moves. She made them right. And I'm very happy for her. And I just hope the best for her and that her safety is going to be a priority, that her and her family are going to be okay. And I think also something I hear a lot, and I'm going to go ahead to the next slide. We've had a lot of cases in the past couple of years come out where some people have been believed, some people haven't been believed. And it's made people kind of nervous sometimes about coming forward. And I know some of that has to do with Depp v. Heard. And I've talked about my opinion on that in the past. But I think something that's very, very cool about this in a weird way is that a lot of people believed Cassie almost immediately. Some of the most horrific allegations I've ever heard, the most insane, the most unthinkable. People looked at the situation, they looked at her, they looked at Combs, and they said, "We stand with Cassie." People are still believing survivors. And as we like to say, if you're struggling right now, you're not alone. And there is a doc that Linda is putting in the chat right now as I speak. It's also in the description of hotlines that you can call, people that you can call, organizations that you can get in contact with. And I have international resources in there too. It's not just for the United States. It's one that Linda put together during the Depp trial as we had people watching and really seeing themselves, a lot of people really seeing themselves in Johnny and struggling and being like, if Johnny came with all of this evidence and people don't believe him, why would anybody believe me? Why would anybody listen to me? There are organizations that are there to help you. There are experts that are there to help you. You are not alone in this. And I really, really would encourage you to please reach out and do what you can, because I know I think this community, so many people here have been affected by these issues. And I really, really try to make sure that this is a safe place for people to come and talk about things that have happened to them, to know that there's a supportive community, that they are fine the way that they are. They can come. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be completely healed. They don't have to be in that. We are all dealing with so many messed up things in our lives. And I just want you to know that if you're struggling with any of this stuff, that there are people out there that can help you. And please do that. Please do that. Um, and I wish you the best, as I'm sure this whole community wishes you the best as well. So that is the dumpster fire. That is Combs and Cassie. So to me, in my opinion, based on the information that I have shown today, some is alleged, some is court, some is many different things. I do think that Diddy did this. I do. And I don't think that this is over. I think this is going to explode. It may take time. It's probably not going to be the timeline that we want it to be. But I think other things are coming. And I will do my best to stay on top of this and to let you guys know if I see anything that is credible, that is a sign that things are moving forward. But I did want to ask you guys before we go into our halftime, how many of you knew everything that I just said? Like put it, let's do it this way. Put a 1 in the chat if you learned something new today. I'm just curious. I'm curious because I thought I knew a good amount before I walked into this, and I was just baffled. And I honestly feel bad for my family over these past few days that have had to listen to me going like Pepe Silva about this case. Because it just kept getting more and more insane. More and more insane. But I am, I'm happy that I think the general public, for the most part, is standing with Cassie, and we're all ready to see Diddy be held accountable. And I think that's why people are really, really bummed that this has gone to settlement, because I think a lot of people felt like this would have been the accountability. I disagree. I think there's going to be other stuff. So that's it. So that is our main topic. We're going to move into halftime now. So let me take this down. And just go back to full. Welcome to halftime. So thank you all so much for being here. I am going to say again, please consider hitting that like button on this stream. I'm assuming if you're here and you've been here for a bit, you do like the stream. If you don't, you can go. There's other things for you to watch. But to everybody who has chosen to be here and has chosen me today, thank you very much for doing that. I so appreciate that. And I thank you for your support as always. I also would ask you guys to please continue to check and make sure that you're subbed, because my YouTube statistics make absolutely no sense. And as I said before, it doesn't make a lot of sense because all of my stats are going up dramatically, except for subs. Makes zero sense. So please make sure that that is happening, because I've also been getting a lot of messages from people who are members of the Space Angels that are getting unsubbed. So I don't know what's happening. So just so y'all know, and please remember just to check that too with your favorite creators, because I know that I am not the only person that is happening to. And it really sucks, because you guys should be able to, choose who you want to watch and then be able to watch them. It's a crazy concept. All right, I got to catch up on support. Thank you so much to any of the support that has come in. I will now be catching up on it. I very much appreciate you guys for everything that you do. Diva D, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for being a Space Angel. Welcome to the Space Angels. It is so good to have you. I feel like I've seen you for a while, so That is awesome. Denise gifted 5 memberships. So welcome to the new Space Angels that have joined because of Denise. Denise, thank you as always for your incredible support of this channel. You are so, so appreciated here. Brandon has been a member for 5 months. Proud Space Angel. Thank you, Brandon. It is always good to see you. Check here. Brandon does a lot of stuff over on Nerd Report Daily. So you guys are welcome to go over there and check out. It's the sister channel of Nerd Report, and the link is in the description. And you can see more of Brandon there because he's pretty good. He's pretty great. Nerd Report also. Hello, Lewis. Thank you for popping in. OG Space Angle here. Yes, you are. I don't even meant to say Angel. You are an OG. Thank you very much, Lewis. Shauna gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so, so much for that, Shauna. Your support in this channel is always just so incredible. So I think that actually brings us up with the 10 that you've given. I think we're at 22. 22 memberships, which is fantastic. Welcome to the new Space Angels. I'm so glad to see you here. It is absolutely awesome to see you. Jalissa has been a member for 5 months saying, hello, Kim. I hope Lacey is recovering well. She is. She is. She's doing super great. And I have her down beside me right now. And honestly, I've just been laughing my head off because it was like I picked her up from the vet. And so she's obviously like, you know, coming out of anesthesia, right? She's been through it. And we're in the car. I'm sitting right next to her. She's in her little house, all strapped in. And one of the things that she does for me with being my service dog is when she wants to alert me that I'm too stressed, sometimes she will start hitting my arm. And sometimes it's like a distraction thing of her being like, no, look at me, look at me, look at me, focus on me. Look how cute I am. You're fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But that's also a message for me that I may need to take other actions to start dealing with what's going on because she's sensing something before I can. She was doing that in the car on the way home. And then after I reassured her that I was fine and it was okay, she demanded to hold my hand the whole way home. And then the following day, she was mad at me for not going into the office. She was mad at me for not coming into the studio. And she wouldn't calm down until I pulled out my laptop and started working on the bed. Again, she's mad at me on Saturday for not coming down here and working in the office. Yesterday, I did come down here and work for a bit. That pleased her. She was at peace with that. She was good. So, of course, we come downstairs today and she's just kind of, walking around, eating, getting some water, whatever it is that she does. And then she came over to the side of my desk and is just waiting. Can I go up in my chair now, please? Back to work. She's such a creature of routine. It is ridiculous. And very quiet dog. But oh, is she loud with her behavior. Always makes me laugh. Always makes me laugh. Oh, okay. Apparently our video is being monetized again fully. I don't know what is going on, YouTube People Reviewer. I'm trying. Thank you for reversing your decision. If you do want to support the stream, there are ways you can do so. You're welcome to go through my link tree. You can check out my my Instagram. My PayPal is there as well. But also, you can send in super stickers if you want. We love sending in hippos. You also can send a super chat if you wish. And you can gift memberships. So there's lots of things that you can do if you wish to support this channel when YouTube is sometimes not. Brandon, thank you so much for the super sticker you just sent in. It was very kind of you, my friend. And of course, it is the hippo dancing. What is this? The move? It's like I'm not dancing. I'm not dancing. Nobody wants that. No one wants that. No one wants it, producer sister. Houston, we shamed them into doing the right thing. Yes, we did. I love it. Marsha Haas has been a member for 2 months. Yay! Yay! Yay, you've been a member for 2 months. It's been great to have you. I'm so happy you have chosen to stay. It is wonderful. He's like, Shauna, hippo train. Never in my life did I think that that would be a thing that people would be saying in my chat. I'm not mad about it. And I love the hippo emoji. You guys are wonderful and you make me laugh. Oh, Shauna, thank you for the super sticker, which is the hippo in the gaming chair. I've never seen that one before. He is so cute. It's like he's in a little secret lab chair, just like living his best life, twirling around. I love it. I can't do that. I don't have enough space. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Joanne just gifted 5 memberships. Oh my gosh. So that brings us up to 27. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Joanne. I know I've seen you around for a while, and I really do appreciate your support of the channel as always. You guys are absolutely wonderful. I'm just looking here. Shauna, holy!
What did Shauna do?
Shauna, thank you very much. Shauna just gave a PayPal, as well as General Scott just gave a PayPal. That is incredibly generous of both of you. Shauna, thank you. Scott, thank you. Thank you guys so much for your support in me. I so appreciate you. And it is always very humbling when I see that type of support come through. Everything is always appreciated, but it just shocks me every time. I hope I never get used to it. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Okay. Asher's mama has been a member for 1 month. Newish member and loving the channel. Thank you very much. It's always good to see that. It's always good to see it. And I mean, I love new faces coming in. I really do want this community to grow and be an awesome place for people to come. So it makes me really happy when people come in, they're new, they decide to stay. That tells me that I'm doing something right. And I really do appreciate that. So thank you so much, Asher's mama. I hope you're doing great. And Terry Ridgeden, member for 4 months. Thought I lost my milestone. I look forward, I guess, to the future. I look forward to the future as well. And I am so glad that you are a member here, Terry. I do see you often, and I'm so thankful for your support as always. You guys are amazing. Okay, so we are in halftime. I think I'm caught up on support now. You guys are incredible, and I am trying to get past shock. Yeah. I have to say, Linda, I love this message that you put up. We see you, lurkers, and we welcome you to join us here at ItsKim channel and to become a member of Space Angels. Join or subscribe today. I will say I am seeing more and more of the not subscribed option pop up in my streams now. So if you're not subbed, why? Why? Because I can see a lot of you are coming back more than once. I'd appreciate it. And I'd love to see you here. I'm assuming you're having fun because it's weird that you're coming back multiple times, but not subscribed. I think you should. Oh gosh. Sarai just said, producer sister, tell Kim we would love to see her dance. No, you would not.
Come on!
Look at how, no, I am so uncoordinated. I would break my face so quickly, guys. It's not even funny. Joanne, more support coming in after you gifted the memberships. It's so kind of you. Hi, Kim and producer sister and Lacey. Always love coming here. You deserve it. It's Kim. Thank you very, very much. I very much do appreciate it. I also want to let you guys know, I know this week for the States is always interesting because you guys have your Thanksgiving, and a large group of people who watch this show are from the States. I am going to be keeping my content as normal. So I am still planning to do, obviously Monday stream today, Wednesday stream. And if there's crazy amounts of news or whatever, potentially a Friday stream. And then I will be back on Monday as well next week. Simply because I am Canadian and we don't celebrate American Thanksgiving. We celebrate Thanksgiving actually in October. Yeah, we celebrate Black Friday. And by celebrate, I mean producer sister and I go on all of our favorite stores, load up our carts with absolutely everything we're even remotely interested in, reload the page at 12:01 on Black Friday, see if there's any sales that are worth buying. We make that choice, we check out, or we do not, and then we move on with our lives. Black Friday!
Same thing for Boxing Day.
Same thing for Boxing Day. This is what we do. Gene Rick, thank you for the $1.99 super chat of the one up and the hippo. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So things are going to continue as normal. So I know that means the reviews may not be as good, but it be what it be. It be what it be, and it's important for me to be here, regardless, because there's a lot of people that don't celebrate it, and we're going to try to have fun as it is. We're going to have time. Okay, so just taking a look at the time. I know we need to start our what the what, because I'm assuming it is long. Producer sister, we do not go to stores on Black Friday. We safely in our PJs from the couch. Yeah, we do it safely. We stay home. We Black Friday responsibly. Yeah, Jules just said, I don't do the whole Black Friday thing. I can't deal with the nuts to fight for a $30 TV. I mean, it's a $30 TV, but then it's how much is it in the medical bills from when you got hit when you were trying to get to TV? Sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's not worth it. It's just not. Oh, yeah. Ange just said I haven't gone out to Black Friday in public in like 20 years. I don't bother. I don't blame you. I'll blame you. Oh, Wancho. Hi, Wancho. Don't have to be sorry. I'm just glad you're here at all. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. All good. Yeah. KDR74. Online Black Friday are the only way to go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I honestly have the feeling. Okay, here is where I will let you guys know about this. I apologize for when I had to silence things earlier and then come back. Producer sister is starting a renovation project in the next room. This renovation project, as many renovation projects can, come with unexpected issues. Right off the bat. And oh, did we get one a couple of days ago. This is a fixable problem, but it is definitely an issue. And we have people coming in to deal with it, all those types of things. But we're going to be dealing with concrete, and we're going to be dealing with a lot of things that are super duper loud, which means there may be some streams in the coming weeks where we will not be streaming from this location. We'll have to be streaming from somewhere else in my home. And that is because there can be noises from the work that is being done that not only distract me in my 84K, but can impact the way that we do the show. So I just want to let you guys know in advance. And if you guys remember this and you see anybody make a comment later on in streams as we go saying like, why are we in a different area? Why is this happening? That's what's happening. Everything's fine. It's going to be fine. We're just trying to do the best that we can with the situation we have. We've got lemons, we're making lemonade, and we're moving forward. And hopefully things will be fixed soon. So we can actually start doing the reno. Yay! Yay! Alrighty. So that's what's up. And now we move into our what the what. We have a saga. We have a saga called Wedding Stories from Mother-in-Law, aka Cruise Control. I've not seen any of this. I don't know. We're going to go through it. Just before we start the what, I did want to ask you guys quickly. And we're going to do a poll. And I'm going to leave this up for the time that we are doing the what. Producer sister asked me today if you guys are okay with multi-day sagas. If that's something you guys like. Because I understand that it's difficult when not necessarily everybody can watch every single episode and it's a lot to catch up on. But at the same time, we can't ignore that one of the most popular what's we have ever had has been Do It for Dan, which we have had updates on. which, you know what I mean? So it's like, we want to make sure that if that's something we choose to pursue, that it's something you guys are good with. So I'm going to do the poll with, so just, are you okay with multi-day sagas for What the What? Yes or no? And just let me know. I'm going to leave this poll up, and we will consider the outcome of this poll in our choices moving forward. And yes, do it for Dan. Do it for Dan. Do it, Dan. We are also today for the saga, and this is also a conversation that producer sister and I have had. We are doing one about wedding drama, which both producer sister and I love to hear stories about wedding drama. We do. We love them. But I also want to make a public comment here, and I'm going to go full screen for this. Reaction content is always kind of one of those conversations that people think that it's all about copying other people. And there's always questions about credit being given and all of those types of things. And I have been open in the past about my love for the YouTuber Charlotte Dobre. She is from Toronto, which I grew up just outside of Toronto. And I have even referenced her in a few of these of her jokes. So, for example, of saying, "How are you not embarrassed?" or things of that nature, because it's just, she is incredible. She is so good at this. And we have purposely avoided doing certain topics because we didn't want to seem or try to give an impression like we were trying to do the Charlotte Dobre thing. That's not what we're doing. I'm ItsKim. I will never be Charlotte. Charlotte will never be me. We're our own people. Like, exactly, Soki. Absolutely not. We won't, like, it's, I want to give her credit in this for inspiring me as a creator on a regular basis, but also to say that I'm doing like my own thing. And I would encourage you guys, if you do enjoy this type of content, like what I do with What the What, you should check out Charlotte. Honestly, you should. You should. Like, as producer sister and I were saying, like, she is one of those creators for me that I just click on her video regardless of what the title or the thumbnail is. I don't care.
I don't even read it.
I don't care. We just watch her. We just watch her every day. So her channel is in the chat. And if by any chance she ever does see this, I absolutely love you. And so this is the first time since we've started doing What the What, which has literally been like months, that we're going into this wedding topic. But we're going to continue to keep things with the diverse topics and things like that. And please know that it is nothing but love and respect for Charlotte. And I hope you guys understand that and get what I am saying on that front. All good. All right. Okay. So, wedding stories from mother-in-law, aka cruise control. I have been told that this is a very long story that could be multiple parts, depending on how much we're feeling this story. Okay? So, we'll go from there. And I may have to stop and explain something else briefly. I haven't read this saga, but I've been briefed on it a little bit. So just so you guys know. But I am reacting with you on this for the first time. Today, Katie Artist 94, I just saw we have 21 slides. So 20 slides of text. You ready? Let's do it. So this is from Sarai, who compiled the saga on Reddit. So this saga originally began with the original poster sharing about her mother-in-law asking to move in, and the sub asked for background. Original poster then posted this 9-part story about how awful planning a wedding/honeymoon was, with her mother-in-law's interference, along with some other unrelated stories. This post will only be the wedding and the aftermath due to its size, because it is massive. In a separate mod-approved post, I've compiled the mother-in-law attempting to move in and the final resolution of the relationship. So essentially what producer sister explained to me was that the person who originally shared her story, she had to continually give background information. So if we did this in order of the time that it was posted, it could get a little bit confusing because it's not chronological. So what producer sister has decided to do is to present this in chronological order so that we're not as confused. Is that right, producer sister? Yeah, so it's just more straightforward for everybody. So that's what's going on.
So today and Wednesday will be the wedding.
Mhm.
And if we're feeling it, then we can do the other half of what happened after the wedding.
Okay. So this week, today and Wednesday are going to be this story. And if we really like it, we can continue. There is other dirt. There is other drama. So King Bob. Do it for Dion. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. Just gonna move my laptop a little bit closer. There we go. So this was originally posted in 2018. The wedding and honeymoon stories span months, so it will take a few installments to retell. It still raises my blood pressure to think about this. I've been writing a bit each day and walking away when it's making me feel especially angry. Angry with pointy things. That's how I'll say it. I'll start with the engagement. I've mentioned that mother in law is still very hung up on her divorce, which happened in the late Cretaceous era. Is this what we're in for?
Yep.
Oh gosh.
That's right.
Father-in-law remarried after a few years, and mother-in-law acts like he might as well have pointed her in the heart. Father-in-law and mother-in-law had 50-50 custody of dear husband for most of his life, and mother-in-law calls herself a single mom. She
Apparently, calling him dear husband
Mhm.
is something that happens throughout Reddit.
Oh, okay.
That is not unique to her.
Okay. All right. Sometimes people refer to their husbands as dear husbands in these posts, which I kind of like. She still calls herself a single mom, even though her only child is a married adult. Mother in law is so resentful of father in law leaving her that it extends to stepmother in law and dear husband's stepsisters. We cannot mention their names around her. We have to pretend that dear husband's family doesn't exist, except for her. She is the sun at the center of the solar system, except her solar system has one lonely little planet, which is dear husband. Oh, this just sounds like it's very dysfunctional.
Yep.
I have concerns.
You should.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We immediately knew that the wedding would be an issue because obviously we would want our families there. Denise! She has one planet! Oh, I love you guys. There was no way we were keeping dear husband's dad out, and he considers his stepmom to be a parent as well. His stepsisters were going to be my bridesmaids. It was unavoidable, and mother-in-law would have to deal. I mean, I think that's fair though, in all honesty. Like you can't this
You know, as a co-parent, this is a day you're going to have to.
yeah, like co-parenting, this is kind of one of those things you're going to have to try to put your differences aside and you do it for your kid. You do it for dear husband. You do it for Dan, whatever. You figure it out. But it's just one of the things that I have to say whenever I look at wedding drama that always baffles my mind is people that try to take this like ownership of other people's weddings when it's like, it's not your wedding. It's not. Like, if you want to go plan a big party that you wear a white dress, you can do that. Do your own. It's not anybody else's. What they say goes, especially if they're the ones paying for it. That drives me crazy. We told her about the engagement, and she was very excited. She started talking about the wedding stuff and volunteering to do all kinds of things. It seemed like a good sign. Uh, Weeks went by and things seemed okay. We hadn't talked about it directly. We just assumed she's not a total moron and knew that dear husband's whole family would be invited. Because why wouldn't they be? One day, mother in law asked me whether I'd chosen my bridesmaids yet, and I said I had. And she asked me if I had room for one more. I thought it was odd, and I told her that everyone who was close enough to me had been a bridesmaid had already been asked. And she started tearing up and said, I'm not important to you? Yep, she was angling to be a bridesmaid. WTF. No! No! I told her that she's already a part of the wedding party because she's mother of the groom. Truth. And she said that she wanted to be a bridesmaid because that way she could get to stand at the front during the wedding ceremony instead of watching from the pews. I remember she said it that way because I remember thinking, uh-oh, we still haven't told her we're not marrying in a church. I told her that the number of bridesmaids matched with the number of groomsmen. Too bad, so sad. I also reminded her that the parents of the bride and groom are traditionally escorted in and given the best seats in the front, so she wouldn't be just like any other guest, as she claimed. It was a strange conversation, and I had to fight the urge to just outright tell her that she was being super weird and should stop talking. So, Regina George, stop talking. Like, please, please, no. People that do this, like, are they aware of how irrational they're being? Honestly, like,
I think so.
I don't know how to say that like any other way. Like, are they not comprehending that what they're asking for is literally bizarre? And my other question is like, when is it that they see this happen that they think, oh, that's totally what we're gonna do? Please name me one movie about weddings that you have ever seen where one of the bridesmaids is the mother of the groom. Has that ever happened? And are they not aware of films such as Monster in Law and how that can be an issue? It's absolutely baffling to me. Just, I don't get it. Fast forward a bit, we're going dress shopping. My bridesmaids are all invited. My mom is invited but can't make it. Oh, that's a bummer. And I decided to throw mother in law a bone. This day was more about finding a bridesmaid's dress that worked for everyone. And I plan to maybe try on a couple dresses for fun. Mother-in-law was told this and still threw a fit because she wanted to get to be one of the first people to see my wedding dress. I thought she'd enjoy being invited to something because all she does is whine about how she never gets to go anywhere or do anything. F me, right? Oh my gosh, it's like Colleen. Sorry. Delulu station. 100%. I just saw that KDR 74. Yep. It's a manipulation station. She kept telling the sales girl to pull wedding dresses off the rack, and I kept telling her to put them back. I was too busy, and I asked to wait until we found a bridesmaid's dress. Otherwise, things were okay. She hadn't said a word about the fact that my bridesmaids included dear husband's stepsisters. Turns out the reason she didn't get upset is that she had no idea. She didn't recognize either one of them because dear husband hides every Facebook post that includes them from her, keeps printed photos hidden, and even moves pictures from his phone just in case. Mother in law had actually never seen the girls in person as adults. It probably didn't help that both of them had purple hair at this time. Good for them. Good for that. Do you want to get purple hair, producer sister? We can be two sisters that have purple hair.
I'm good.
No?
No.
That's okay. Okay.
I have purple streaks.
Yeah, we have purple streaks. It could be fun. This became obvious when they were discussing how they both needed to help dad get a new suit for the wedding. And mother-in-law said, "Oh, you two are sisters? I had no idea." We looked at her like, "Huh?" And then mother-in-law turned on me and said, "I thought you hadn't sent invites yet. How do they know their dad gets to come already? You haven't even let me know if my family can come yet. And I'm the mother of the groom. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a piece of with a big mouth and a tiny brain." Oh no. It was pretty uncomfortable. But I told her, "Mother-in-law, you know that they're dear husband's stepsisters, right? They mean dear husband's dad will be there. He's the father of the groom, so he knows he's invited. Just like you already know you're invited." Oh no. Mother-in-law started crying and said she couldn't believe that I would do this to her. It's his dad! It's his dad! Dear husband's family is just her because his dad left. 50-50 custody, guys. He was clearly abandoned. And it wasn't fair that dear husband's dad's side is overrepresented in the wedding. I don't know what she means by that. Literally every member of dear husband's family was in the wedding party. They all had roughly equal involvement. In mother-in-law's mind, it would be more fair if her side, which is just her, had an equal amount of guests at the wedding as father-in-law's side, which was 4 people that we all adore. Oh my gosh. You know what's popping in my head right now? And I think I'm gonna have to find the clip of this to have if this is gonna be an ongoing saga. There's a clip in the movie Galaxy Quest that I love, where the late, great, incredible Alan Rickman, may he rest in peace, is yelling at Tim Allen's character because he's quite the narcissist himself. And everything is about Tim Allen's character, Jason. And Alan Rickman's character just yells at him because it's always about you, isn't it?
Yeah, I get that one on standby.
It always astounds me. It seems like in every wedding. I'm sure there are some that it's not. But like weddings I hear about from other people. Why do people try to make it into their wedding if it's not their wedding? It's not your wedding. It's not. Why is this? Why do people claim ownership over weddings that aren't theirs? Why? Why? I don't know. I can't. Okay. I just looked at the other girls there and I said, I think dress shopping is over. I was stupid and I had carpooled with mother-in-law that day. So that was a fun car ride. I had to pull over and tell her to calm down because I can't focus on driving if she screams her head off. She turned it on like a faucet. She turned it off like a faucet. Fake B. We didn't find dresses that day. And there were at least 20 phone calls a day with her wailing that she had been betrayed every day for a week. Oh my gosh, this woman needs therapy. Wow. 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 She would come to our place and collapse against the front door and sob because she was too upset to stand. The neighbors called the police, and that's when it stopped. It was embarrassing, and I could go into a lot more detail about those visits, but this is already pretty long. Sobbing against the door? Did woman think she was like shooting a video for someone like you? Like, what is happening? I can't.
Main character.
Oh my gosh. Okay, part 2. So I made the mistake of using a name that's a little too involved. I'm going to call her Cruise Control because she's become known to this sub as that crazy mother-in-law who is using an imaginary cruise vacation to scam her way into becoming a squatter at her son and daughter-in-law's house. I'm sorry.
That would be the second.
That's the second part?
Like after the wedding, if we choose to do the next.
Oh my gosh. So that's like sneak peek at if we continue this saga. All right. This is fun. When we left off, Cruise Control had asked to be a bridesmaid in her son's wedding and had been turned down and then thrown a fit because dear husband's sisters or stepsisters, who we're both close to, were going to be bridesmaids. She kept conveniently losing motor function from the waist down and sobbing against the door of our apartment. I refused to open the door if it was just me, which usually was due to dear husband's schedule. And the neighbors were annoyed at the noise. Someone called the police after about a week of her nonsense, and that embarrassed her enough to make her stop. The phone calls continued, though. I had lost all desire to plan the wedding, but my bridesmaids were so sweet and did their best to get me cheered up. We went and looked at these dresses, venues, etc. I just kept thinking to myself it was a lot of money to pay for a day that Cruise Control would probably ruin. Oh. Sorry. Scott? For some reason, I picture this woman as a T-Rex with stubby little arms and constantly screaming at everything. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Oh my gosh. Producer sister, I'm so sorry to bother you. Would you be able to grab me a Coke? Thank you. My lips are bugging me too. It's like my mouth is getting dried out because I'm talking so much. Oh my gosh. This woman. Meanwhile, dear husband is deep in his appeasement efforts. He is on the phone with Cruise Control for hours most days. Other times, she demands that he visit to talk in person. I spent many evenings eating dinner alone, thank you, while he listened to her crying. It didn't feel like the happy engagement that I wanted. We had so little free time together because dear husband's job had a different schedule than mine, and Cruise Control ate into whatever little we had. I really hate to say it, but I feel like at that point you're kind of enabling it. Like she wants attention, and that's exactly what you're giving her. It's one thing to be like, Mom, I recognize that this is difficult for you, and we're going to do our best to create distance. Like I won't have you at the same table as, dad or whatever. And like, but he's still my dad, and I need you to respect that and not like lose your mind. Also, like, I think it's probably been long enough that, and I'm not saying that, I mean, father-in-law could have done something really terrible to mother-in-law for all we know. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like mother-in-law has dealt with it at all herself to have these kinds of reactions. And dealing with it and forgiving and moving forward does not mean that what the person did to you was okay. It just means that you're choosing to live without that poison in your life. And it certainly seems like this poison is very alive and well within her. And that's really sad. Does that make sense, producer sister?
Mhm.
Like I honestly like the compassion I have for this woman is simply at it's eating her alive.
Nothing is said about why they divorced.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of left to our own conclusions based on how she acts. And I'm like, yeah, I can see why she.
Yeah, it's a producer sister saying there seems to be no like direct like this is why they split up, but as you go through the saga, it's kind of like I understand why he left. And I mean, if this behavior is anything to judge by, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. One Saturday, I got in my car to go to Costco, and I missed my exit. I was stressed and unhappy, and for some reason, I just decided that it was fate. I kept driving. Every time I thought I should turn around, I started crying and hyperventilating, so I kept going. I felt like I was having some type of nervous breakdown, and that I would totally effing lose it if I ended up at my apartment and had to deal with Cruise Control's presence in our relationship. Dear husband finally noticed that I had been gone all day and started frantically calling me. So I answered. He asked me where I was, and I told him. I said that I was sorry, and I know it was crazy, but I was miserable and I had to get out. By this point, I was in a different state, and I hadn't eaten since breakfast. It was around 7 p.m. Oh my goodness. I told him that I was checking into a motel, and I'd drive back the next day if I felt like it. I also told him that if he spoke to cruise control about this, the engagement was off and I was moving out. Oh my goodness. Wow. Dear husband saw the writing on the wall and drove down to meet me the next day. We went to a crappy beach and put our feet in the water and hugged each other for the rest of the day. I told him that I was willing to have a wedding and a deal with his mom, but he needed to spend time with me and put limits on how much he lets her take up his time. He agreed and we both cried. We both called out sick and spent Monday driving back. You know what? I think those conversations though are really important when you're going through stuff like that. And I'm glad, like, I don't know how dear husband is going to be. Is dear husband going to be an issue, producer sister? Oh no. Okay. No. No, no. Mm, okay. Cruise control had been texting and calling dear husband constantly, then texting me and telling me to tell him to call her. I took his phone and wrote something like, I'm going to be too busy to respond to calls and texts for the next few days. Wait for me to reach out to you. It's not personal. I just need to focus. Sorry. Love you, mom. Then I put her on do not disturb mode and we ignored for a few days. After a break for our mental health, we decided we needed to sit down and have a talk with her. We called her and told her we wanted to meet to discuss, and to our surprise, she agreed. She seemed very eager to talk, which made me nervous. We met her at her house, my first mistake right there, and she'd cooked a big meal to make herself seem gracious, make a bleh. She had cooked a big meal to make herself seem like the gracious and generous hostess. Barf. I think me and this girl would get along.
Yeah.
We had already eaten because we hadn't agreed to a meal, but she would have thrown a fit if we didn't eat, so we did. We were so spineless. She aggressively refused to let us help with dishes when we sat down for our big talk. Cruise control pulled out a letter that was handwritten and was at least 5 or 6 pages long, front and back.
That's all I can hear in my head.
I wish I still had it, but I burned it. She asked us to read it first and then give her our thoughts. We told her we had our own thoughts to share with her, and that's why we called this meeting. She insisted that we read the letter, and I said, we hear you out all the time. Dear husband spends 3 hours a day hearing you out. It's our turn. Of course, dear husband just choked at this point. He had pretty much never confronted her, and it was too much for him. I ended up carrying the conversation, what little of it there was, because she cried immediately, like always. I told her she has zero say in who was in our wedding party. Father in law is dear husband's dad. End of story. We weren't even including his stepmom in the typical mother of the groom category stuff, like the first dance. So cruise control could feel special if she wanted to, but she would sit next to father in law at the ceremony and be present in the photos. Dear husband's stepsisters are my friends. I've known them longer than I've known dear husband. So they are not bridesmaids for no reason. And if she couldn't handle it, she didn't have to come. Cruise control was red as a beet and sobbing like she just watched me run over her dog at this point. I continued and said that I continued and said that it was sad that she didn't think it was important to make her son happy about his impending nuptials, and that we were both deeply unhappy and dreading our own wedding because of her. She looked at dear husband and said, I'm sorry, baby, and made a grabby hands motion with her hands outstretched. Dear husband walked over to her and hugged her. Reed, let her cling on to him like she was about to be swept away in a flood. She comforted her while I sat awkwardly, and she cried about how she isn't a bad person and she wants the best for him. Everything she does comes from a place of love. Barf, 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 barf. And she asked us to read the letter. We said we'd bring it home and read it. The meeting was supposed to be at 8 and ended up being around 9 because of her ambush dinner. So by this point, it was late and we needed to go home because we both had work the next day. Overall, that confrontation was pretty bad. She shut it down by crying and demanding physical affection from dear husband, which he willingly gave. I made my point known about the wedding party and her being supportive, but she continued to behave badly. Up next, the contents of her crazy letter, another sit down meeting with lots of crying, and we both give the F up and elope. Oh my gosh. Okay. Part three
of 9.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Part three. In the last installment, Cruise Control shut down our attempted meeting by crying a lot and gave us a long handwritten letter to read so we could get her point of view, which we already have plenty of, by the way. We got home and didn't read the stupid letter. It was late and we had work the next day, so I left it on the kitchen table. Now, this next moment was not particularly flattering one for dear husband. He awoke before me and read the letter to find out how maddening it would be and decided to hide it from me. Dear husband has been managing his mom's emotions for his entire life. He really genuinely thought it was not just okay to hide it, but the right thing to do. I looked and I gave up and had to go to work. Then I teased the truth out of him after he got home that evening. After taking a few breaths until the red tint faded from the edges of my vision, seriously, what was he thinking? I explained that unlike his mom, I'm an effing adult and I can manage my own emotions. Thank you very much. By all means, warn me if it's bad. I appreciate the heads up. However, I am not made of glass and I can make my own decisions. He can't treat me like a child who can't handle the truth. It's insulting. He fetched it for me and sat across from me and watched my face as I read it. Keep in mind, I'm already in a bad mood by now. Oh, I'm preparing myself.
Yeah, I would.
Am I going to need alcohol?
You might.
Oh, gosh. What slide are we on? We're on slide 13. Okay. I burned the letter. So this is what I remember. I will do my best to summarize her mental gymnastics. These are just the highlights. Parentheses are my personal thoughts and feelings. Okay. I'm a single mother with only one child, and this is my only opportunity to have a say in my kid's wedding. Weddings are traditionally for the parents, not the kids. Excuse you! Sorry, what?
Okay, ready?
Letting the bride and groom choose their own guests is a modern invention and not how it used to be. Oh, I'm a traditional lady and I like things that are to be old fashioned when it benefits me, in brackets, but I'm willing to make concessions for modern culture, bracket, when it benefits me. She wanted us to be grateful that she was letting us choose our own guest list and setting it up so that she was having her right as mother-in-law taken away, so we should just give her control over just a few guests, father-in-law and his family. Here's my opinion on this. Is mother-in-law paying for this wedding?
She's trying for some of the stuff she wants.
But is mother-in-law in charge of paying for this wedding?
No.
Producer sister just said no. If you're not paying, it's not up to you. It's not. It's not. Because nobody else should ever have to pay tens of thousands of dollars for an event and not have any say in how that happens. That is absolute lunacy. I'm sorry, but it is. And this is about their marriage. Their marriage. That's what this is about. This is about, at the end of the day, this is a legal agreement of two people choosing to enter marriage together. This is about them. It's about them. That's it. That's it. If they want to have a Windex themed wedding, that's their prerogative. It's their wedding. I like what? Okay.
You're gonna page yourself here.
Do I have any pink Moscato? Because I may need that. Okay. Okay. Page 2. I want to be happy on the day of my only child's wedding, and I simply can't and won't feel happy if I have to see father-in-law. Then I guess you won't be happy because that's a choice you've made. That you can't be happy for your only child. I still can't stand to see his name written down, and it will hurt me if his name is on the invitations or the programs. What? Brackets. We hadn't gotten anywhere near that at this point in planning yet, let alone seeing his face for the first time in years. He and stepmother-in-law are a toxic presence in her life. Bracket. They aren't, and they've never even been present in her life, and she goes to great lengths to avoid them. And I can't expose myself to that. A good person, oh gosh, wouldn't ask or expect me to. I raised you to be kind and understanding to my effing insane desires, in brackets, so I know you will let me have it my way. What in the manipulation is that? Manipulation station. Like, what am, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I think therapy should be a human right at this point. We need people sorting through their stuff. This is not normal. This is not healthy. Oh my gosh. Guys talk, she's talking like her ex is Ted Bundy. Like, I don't, what is happening? She, sorry, okay, yeah. She also graciously allowed me to keep my bridesmaids. Ugh. Though she said that 4 is too many and 2 is plenty. It's not necessary if you're doing this just to indulge them. I have been in weddings where, in my opinion, there's been too many bridesmaids and too many groomsmen.
You're here.
Like, it's, I'm sorry. This is about a bridal party, not a bridal football team. This is getting a bit excessive. When we've literally got like the home and away team on each side of the stage, when you've got that many people. Like, I'm sorry, if you need a school bus for your wedding party, it's too big. Yep. It's too big. And I mean, like, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. And I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule that someone could tell me a really sweet story about why all of these people that they wanted them involved in the wedding. And I probably would be like, good for you. Again, it's your day. You do what you want. But to me, 4 bridesmaids is not too many. That's not like overly excessive. Now, 15, I might be going, there's a lot of people, but 4? Your issue is 4? I mean, I had 3. Like, okay. Just, and I hope you guys know what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to judge anybody that had a lot of bridesmaids, but I'm just saying, like, if you were going to say that someone had too many bridesmaids, I feel like that would be when you would say it. Not over 4. I hope you guys know what I mean. It's bugging me. She didn't want dear husband's stepsisters to be my bridesmaids, but she let me have it. Okay. She did say that I should caution them not to talk about father-in-law or their mom around her. Oh my gosh. Number 2 was that we couldn't get number 2 was that we could get legally married. Oh, did I skip?
Yeah.
I did. Sorry. Okay, so number pages 3 to 6 or so, I can't remember how many pages it was, might have been more, where 3 suggested compromises and her stupid justifications for them. Oh gosh. Number 1 was that one of dear husband's parents could have the ceremony and the other one could have the reception. She wanted the reception because of the mother son dance, because it's her right. Blah, blah, blah. So father in law would get the 15-minute ceremony and then would have to leave and not speak to anyone. Yep, cool plan. This woman needs help. This is insane. She's mentally ill.
Yes.
And I say that as a mentally ill person. She needs help. Like, there's no shame. Get the help. Get the help. Your life is a lot better when you do. Number 2 was that we could get legally married at a courthouse and then have our marriage before God on separate days of separate events. She's more religious and deserved the church ceremony with the pretty dresses and flowers, of course. I actually don't have words for that. I don't have words for that. Because, ma'am, if you are the more religious one, A, you should be treating people the way that you should want to be treated, which you're not doing with your son. You're expecting your son to bend over backwards to make you happy, but you are barely willing to like bend a finger to help him have the day that he wants to have with his wife. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you really are a religious person and you really look into the text, you'll realize very quickly you don't deserve anything. You don't. You don't. Everything is a gift. Everything is a gift. Live with a thankful heart. Be thankful that your son has found someone that he wants to marry and is going to start a beautiful life with her. That you've raised a man that is going to take care of a woman and harvest a wonderful relationship with the both of them. I can't. I can't. Like, it's just, I'm sorry. Am I wrong, producer sister? Like it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Nope, and you haven't even heard the best part.
Oh no. Men aren't as interested in that, and I'm sure father in law would love to be your witness. Then she would go straight to the reception and stay until cake, and then she would leave again, or leave and let father in law come and enjoy the rest of the evening, while people would be getting drunk, which she is uncomfortable with. Again, how convenient. This would also mean that father in law wouldn't be in any of our wedding photos. So now you want to control the wedding guests as well? And what they ingest?
Well, no, she just doesn't want to be there while they're drinking.
But I mean, come on.
It's a wedding.
It's a wedding.
There's going to be alcohol.
Yeah, it's a wedding. Some people are going to get a little bit tipsy. And I mean, like, my husband and I, granted, we did have a conversation about having it be a dry wedding when we got married. And that was simply because the majority of our guest list, they didn't drink. Like, I would say over 75% of the people that we invited to our wedding did not drink. Period. So we were kind of like, is it really worth it for us to pay for the bar? You know what I mean? This is a question. Hi, Steph. Welcome. We're reading an insane story. This is fun. Crazy mother-in-law at this point. This is absolutely wild. Okay.
And the fun part.
The next idea of hers is what I still can't wrap my head around. No matter how hard I try, it is too effing stupid. You could see the mass idiocy of this. You could see a massive idiocy this large from space. The amount of stupidity is larger than some small nations. This lunacy has its own gravitational field. You could spend one day blindfolded shooting Nerf pellets at a vintage typewriter and come up with less of a nonsensical plan than this one. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. She said in it, in weddings, only the father of the bride and mother of the groom matter, because father of the bride has to walk his daughter down the aisle, and mother of the groom is the one who plans the rehearsal dinner and opens speeches at the reception. I don't know where she got that. Rehearsal dinner is traditionally something that the father or the father and mother of the groom does. And that's under the assumption that the mother of the bride and father of the bride are paying for the wedding, was how it was explained to me. So it's like the bride's family gets to show off at the wedding, and the groom's family gets to show off at the rehearsal dinner. That's the idea. But again, that's a very like old school traditional thing. But like when we were talking about our rehearsal dinner, I asked my in-laws if they wanted to do that, because it was traditional and I wanted to give them that option, that if they didn't want to, that was totally fine with me. Totally fine with me. But if that was something they wanted to do in a traditional sense, I didn't want to take that opportunity away from them, in all fairness. But yeah, okay. Plus the groom slash mother of the groom dance is just so important. Therefore, not only is the father-in-law completely unnecessary, my mother is unnecessary. What? What, like the mother of the bride doesn't need to be invited?
Yes.
The mother of the bride has no place at the wedding? Oh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, are you serious? She said that my mom is just like a guest, like any other. So, dear husband shouldn't feel bad if his dad isn't there for the whole thing. Shut up! Absolutely not! What? um, she's right. This has its own gravitational field. What in the what? Oh my gosh. Okay. If he wants things to be fair, he can uninvite my mom and make things even Stevens. Who says that her son wants to not invite his mother-in-law to his own wedding? Oh my gosh. Katie, yes, the Captain Phillips bean. I'm the mother now. Like, for what even is this? How? Oh my gosh. Okay. Then we can have a mini reception later with just the bridesmaids, groomsmen, father-in-law, and my mom. That way, both of our families will be equally represented at the large reception and the small one. Or you can recognize that you are the problem. You are the problem. 100% the problem. You need psychological care. I would say make an appointment with both a psychiatrist and a psychologist and have them work in tandem. Something is wrong. It's wrong. There's some I this I'm broken. Kim XC has stopped working. I actually like the fact that it's like, oh well, we can like not invite your mom so it's even. Like, what the I cannot. I can't. And you know the other mom is probably sitting here like she is that judge. You know that little girl in the back of the car that has that like judging you face? Where is it? Where is it? Girl, car, judging face. Please bring me the meme. Please. Yep, first one that came up. Okay, I described it efficiently. That makes me happy. I'm sorry. I am calling this right now. I believe in my heart of hearts that her mom would look at the mother-in-law like this. She'd just be like, what? I can't. No, absolutely not. Yeah, Katie R decided for it. The reception is going to need padded walls at this point. I cannot. Okay. And we're not even through this. Okay.
You've got 5 more
It's gonna get crazier. Fantastic. I can't. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then we have a follow-up of this on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Okay, we're getting alcohol Wednesday. That's happening. I'm sorry. I'm done. This needs alcohol. There's no. Okay. What she suggested was basically just a brunch. My mom deserves better than brunch. Your mom deserves to be at her own daughter's wedding and not to have to deal with this stupid. Oh gosh. She said we can make it like a mini wedding and with a photographer so that everyone is happy. Yeah, F out of here. My mom could still be a part of the wedding by attending the thing where the bride and the bridesmaids get ready together because all a mother of the bride really wants is to see her little girl in a big white dress on her special day. She basically wanted to judge the judgment of Solomon. Wanted to judgment of Solomon my wedding. Okay, yeah. Also, can I just say mother-in-law from hell um that has been the single mom of an only child who is a boy since the Cretaceous period. What exactly gives you the expertise to be able to say that you understand what a mother of the bride wants to be a part of? What relevant experience do you bring to the table to be able to speak on behalf of the mother of the bride? I'm just curious. Like, when did that happen? Gosh. Okay. So basically, cruise control bridesplained what weddings are all about and what should and shouldn't matter to us. Bridesplained, momsplained, beesplained. She's got a lot of things very wrong and assumed we would never bother to Google it. She also assumed her own son is petty and immature enough to go with option 3, which he would never. Okay, hang on. No, if your dear husband did go with option 3, there is only one correct response.
Divorce, babe, divorce.
That's what it is. It's no, absolutely not. No, no, no. Bye. She never mentioned stepmother-in-law in these plans. I don't know if she meant that we should just treat her as a +1 for father-in-law or if she just assumed we wouldn't invite her because of her fifis. Okay. She refuses to accept that stepmother-in-law has been a parent to dear husband. He doesn't even call her his stepmother. Also, her daughters are in the wedding party. I finished the letter and just said, "Your mother is insane. She is crazy. She is a crazy person. She'll never be happy." He agreed, but I was pissed because he was kind of laughing it off. Like, that's my mom, all right. The stuff I put up with. What a goofy letter. And I was like, this is our wedding. It's important. This isn't letting her choose a restaurant and then putting up with it because it's not a hill to die on. This is actually worth the fight. And I don't think you're willing or able to fight her on it. That is no bueno. No bueno. You need to take this seriously starting now. Holy man. Yeah, this is nuck and futz. I can't. No. Oh my gosh. He sobered up a bit and was like, "Yeah, I know. I've been dreaming of marrying you for so long and I shouldn't let her have this." I said, "Don't you find this depressing? It makes me miserable. I feel like I can't win." Dear husband shrugged and said, "I've never won. I gave up on that a long time ago." We had a heart to heart about how he'd become a defeatist, but I wasn't that way. And that was part of the problem. He copes by letting go of his emotional investment in things cruise control doesn't want him to have, but I can't and won't do that. And so I am distressed and he is just chilling. Okay, but seriously though, that is such a huge red flag if you guys are going to have kids. For real. Like, no. No, 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 no. No. Absolutely not. Lulu's mom, I just saw your comment. It's not an evil one. It's the giggle of her being like, I did it. I found the one that's gonna break my sister. Like, that's literally what it is. Yes, Pascal's knuckin' futs. Credit to him. Love Pascal. Knuckin' futs. We got to get creative up on this platform. Which, by the way, we got limited again.
Really?
Yeah, so we were fine, then we got limited, then they reversed their decision, then they limited me again, and now they're going over it again. Whatever, man. Like, I can't make people happy. You can't please everybody. Ridiculous. Okay. Next thing I did was take that letter and bring it straight to my parents and my bridesmaids so they would see what we were up against. To this day, my parents hate cruise control. I wonder why.
I read the letter.
I wonder why. Because Mother of the Bride was totally fine being like a casualty, just collateral damage because she can't deal with her divorce. Like, that's what this is. Ridiculous. Oh. Part 4. Just to recap, these events happened 2 years ago. Advice is not needed. I'm just retelling these stories for added background. In the last installment, I described Cruise Control's letter in which she helpfully outlined several opinion options for us to better serve her massive ego and delicate feelings. The letter ended up being a pretty messed up document of what I'm gonna say how knuck and fut she is. So I showed it to pretty much everybody, as one does. You know what? I think that is actually a good idea. I really do, because I'm usually not for like airing personal information or dirty laundry or whatever. But when you're dealing with someone that is like
Unhinged.
so unhinged and you don't know what they're capable of, and you've already had to have police involved at this point, it's always good for just your reputation and also your safety for people around you to be aware of how absolutely crazy this is and what you're dealing with. And why, if you say to them, like, no, I am literally scared of my mother-in-law, that people don't like laugh at you and go, like, oh, I know my mother-in-law is difficult too. Like, no, legit, like, I'm scared of my mother-in-law. Receipts, right? Like, this is a different level. This is disturbing, right? Okay. The first people I showed it to were my bridesmaids, which included dear husband's stepsisters. They had been named in the letter as unnecessary, and they did not like that one bit. Why am I surprised? We talked about what an insane POS cruise control was, and we tried and failed to come up with plans. I was depressed about the situation, and I wanted my mom. I don't know what that is. Producer sister, do you remember what word that is? Pardon?
Dang it.
Oh. And I wanted my mom, darn it, at my wedding. She was gobsmacked by the letter as she confronted dear husband and I. We had a nice weekend with my parents, and she made my favorite cookies, so it wasn't all that bad. It was important to me that dear husband was there so he could see a few people demonstrate a normal reaction to that letter. Yeah, I would agree. I told dear husband that I was not going to make the decision for him, but that he should find a way to tell cruise control that he wasn't going to uninvite his dad. I said that I refused to disrespect his family on that day that our families are joined, and I would be ashamed to get married in a way that prioritizes his mom over the rest of his family, so I wouldn't do it. He can take his time, but the wedding stuff won't progress until he makes a decision. Yes. Meanwhile, I'm getting bombed with calls and emails about wedding crap. Cruise control has gone to some kind of bridal expo and has picked up some brochures. She scanned and emailed a bunch of effing brochures. Holy lady, it can wait a few days. This isn't an urgent matter. Just give them to me in person if it's so important to you. She sent me a lot of stupid articles from places like Cosmo about wedding trends. She would write these long emails and copy and paste a ton of pictures into them. They were insanely long. I don't know how to describe how long they were, except that I start reading and I think, wait an effing second, how long is this thing? And then spend the next few minutes scrolling to the bottom to find out. And I would say, dear husband, your mom sent an email, and I think she meant to send it to you, just to torture him a little. You know what? You both got to deal with it. He should be just as comfortable as you. Just. If not more. Because he should be embarrassed. In my opinion. My gosh. The emails were also organized like they each were a volume unto themselves. She really believed that she was creating the ultimate resource for me. One email would just be about dresses. One email would be about cakes. The subject line would be Guide to Dresses, Current Trends, Local and Online Retailers. She would then go through what she believed to be the current trend dresses and use a bunch of pictures and then write the pros and cons of the different styles. Then list a bunch of stores, the price range, the pros and cons, and contact info. It was insane. She must have made this her full-time job. She was approaching it as if she was writing an academic paper on which bakeries in our area were worth checking out. I know this is obviously like we know this by this point, but this is just such a toxic, narcissistic mother situation that it almost borderlines on like I'm going to say the I word. That is, she feels so invested in this. It's like she wants to be. That's why she wants to be on the stage. She wants to control what, OP is wearing, all those types of things. It's mm-mm, mm-mm. This is disturbing. I tried to tell her that it was unnecessary and she should save her time, and she said that she enjoys it and views it as a fun hobby. Okay, then keep it to yourself. Find someone else and plan your own wedding. I had agreed with your husband that she was his job to handle, so I didn't say anything about how the wedding was pretty much off. In her mind, it was full speed ahead. And in hindsight, I should have just told her. She started coming over. She brought fabric swatches, catalogs, photographs of venues that she had taken herself and then printed out. One day I got home from work and dear husband was there looking miserable, and cruise control had set up our kitchen table with a demo of what she thought our place settings, tablecloths, etc. should be. She had just gone out and bought a tablecloth and 4 sets of plates, chargers, cutlery, and glasses, and she really thought she would wow us and we'd go ahead and buy the same set for the whole wedding so hers wouldn't go to waste. Run. Run, OP, just run. I mean, I know this happened years ago and everything. And like she said, she's not asking for advice, but oh wow. This is nuts. At this point, I just started lying to her. First, she asked me if I was ready to go wedding dress shopping again, angling for an invite, as effing if, and I lied and said that I had chosen to wear my mother's wedding dress. Next, she asked if I still needed a veil and claimed that I was wearing my grandmother's veil. And sorry, she asked if I still needed a veil, and I claimed I was wearing my grandmother's veil. She asked about shoes. I said I had bought some. Things continued this way for a while. I would lie in such a way she couldn't cry. She couldn't call and try to snoop. I would say my aunt is making the cupcakes instead of a wedding cake, and that way she couldn't call a bakery. Meanwhile, the wedding was effectively canceled. Remember that cruise control has no friends. I am so shocked. She was the only person who believed it was still happening, and no one was going to confirm or deny that to her. I told dear husband that I didn't want to think about it because I didn't want to feel like we were on the same team. I didn't want to plan a wedding that I wasn't excited about, and he had to make a decision about cruise control, and I wouldn't make it for him. Dear husband was getting stressed out about this because his mom was still running around trying to claim a wedding task for herself. She was upset that she hadn't gotten to help pick any of the imaginary components of the wedding, and kept crying to him and saying stuff like, "Don't tell regret for two." I'm assuming OP. "But I'm very upset, and I wish she would include me." He was afraid that she would try to book something at the end and end up spending the money on a wedding venue. And once she did that, we would have to tell her no, and she'd erupt like a small volcano. Dear husband started having panic attacks. I begged him to go to therapy, and when I mentioned therapy, he had another panic attack, so I stopped mentioning it. That actually, I'm sorry, if somebody says you need to go to therapy and you have a panic attack over that, you probably actually do need to. Because it means that the idea of you having to confront these things is so overwhelming that it sends you into that. You need to deal with it. It's not healthy. That's not the way that your body is designed to react. It means that there's something going on, probably, that you need some help with. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just he's dealt with what I would assume would be forms of narcissistic abuse for the majority of his life. And you gotta deal. One day she came over with her own mother's wedding dress and asked me to try it on to be sure. She made a lot of comments about how my mom's dress must be a poofy-sleeved 80s disaster. And this vintage gown of her mother's was timeless. The disrespect that is being thrown at the mother of the bride.
Yep. For no reason.
What did she do?
Nothing.
What did mother of the bride do to deserve this? I get father-in-law left. I get that they had a falling out, and she's allowed to be mad at him for whatever reason she feels. But, like, what did the mom of the bride do? I can tell you one thing. My mom wouldn't have taken that laying down. Oh, there would have been a war. It would have been war. Mom would have been here. Mom would have been writing this on Reddit. Yeah, mom would be like, no, absolutely not. It was nice looking, but there was a weird pink bow tacked onto the back right above the butt, like Cinderella, like the pink Cinderella dress, and the pink dye had seeped into the white fabric of the dress. We removed it and it turned out the bow was covering a hole. I said thanks, but no thanks, and ushered her out the door. I later found out that it wasn't her mother's wedding dress at all. I don't know where she got it. Oh my gosh, this woman! I told dear husband, this ends now. I don't want her coming and pushing wedding stuff on me anymore. Either you say something by the end of the weekend or I will. I called my mom and cried to her about how much this sucked, and she told me to come over. I did, and I spent the weekend at her house again. A couple of my bridesmaids ended up joining me there. They love my mom, and she was that mom that becomes everyone's second mom. And we all formulated a plan over margaritas. Best plans are made over margaritas. And that is the end of this part. Oh my gosh. I can't. I need a second. Like, my lips are so dry from talking about this and just like screaming. I just need a second. Hang on. Oh my gosh. Just are we all okay up in here?
And this is why I said we don't find out why father-in-law left, but you can come to your own conclusion.
Yeah, as producer sister just said, we don't find out why father-in-law left, but I don't blame him for leaving. I don't. However long he stayed with her was probably too long. I'm going to end this poll from before. 91% of you are good with multi-day sagas. I would say that is the majority. Yes, Kyle, I am so triggered. My anxiety has anxiety. I would agree. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I kind of want to do a poll about this. I'm getting, yeah, Jackie. Where is it? Oh, the chat is moving so quickly, guys. I'm trying to catch. I know, but it's in StreamYard. It's having difficulty. Give me a second. Jackie, I can't find the other comment that you made, but I believe Jackie said, like, I need a mega pint. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. There it is. It just came through for me. Just came through. I'm getting a mega pint. Yep. Okay. So this will be continued on Wednesday. And if we're still super invested, we can talk about it again because it looks like there's a lot of updates on this. I want the best for OP. And also, I want the world for OP's mom because the mother of the bride having to deal with this is just, that just infuriates me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Merle just said she poured herself a big glass of red wine and found it necessary. It was so iconic. I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. So are we invested? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask, should we continue this saga? Yes or no? Vote.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, after Wednesday, are you guys cool if, because producer sister appreciates the time to be able to prepare for what's going on. Both producer sister and I work a full-time job. So this is like our part-time thing that we do, also for fun. And so if we can plan ahead, that means that life is a lot easier. A Mandalorian invested. Shauna, not even a question. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so far we're at 100% with 33 votes. The things we can all agree on, how we feel about Jada Pinkett Smith, and whether or not we want this crazy saga to continue. Well, you guys, I know this show has gone longer than normal, but I think this has been fun. I think we've had a good time. I don't know how you guys are doing, but I've enjoyed myself. This has been great. I am going to ask you guys to please make sure you have hit that like button. Please consider subscribing if you have not. We do this. We read these crazy stories and have fun together and also go over the news. It's a good time. It's a good time. Denise, fudge, I hate this story, but it's just one of those train wrecks you can't look away from. 100%. This is a toxic mother-in-law train. Completely. Speaking of, I did want to mention, I guess we're in kind of like our wind down time and we can ask questions and things like that if you guys want to talk about stuff. I have seen apparently a certain ukulele lady has posted again. She posted a vlog. And to be honest with you, I haven't watched it yet because I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to give her the view. But I do see that Adam McIntyre has watched this and he's posted a response to it. So I will give him the view and not Colleen because I can't. No. Need some accountability there. You don't get to hurt kids for me. You don't get to hurt kids and have me be okay with it. I'm sorry. I just can't. Absolutely not. Also, I understand that the first episode of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here aired with with Miss Jamie Lynn Spears. I'm kind of debating on doing like a video about this, not a stream, like doing an actual video about this because I haven't done a standalone video in a while. But I have a lot of feelings. I don't understand. Like, to be clear, like Jamie Lynn Spears drives me nuts, right? There's I have issues, but I also always try to be really conscious. I think sometimes when you have a celebrity or there's like a person in the public eye that you have an issue with, I don't ever want to fixate on that person forever and ever and ever and just have like a hate train for them. I never want to be like a hater, for lack of a better term. I still try to view things as I still try to view people as people. But I think the biggest thing that I have with Jamie Lynn a lot of the time is I just don't understand her logic in the choices that she makes. And sometimes it's just, I feel like you can see the writing on the wall, and I don't know why, why she puts herself in this position. So, like, apparently for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, when you go for the show, you're basically in like a quarantine for 3 days. And during that time, you're supposed to be doing, or you are offered the ability to be able to do interviews with the British press. And then those interviews kind of like are shown to the British people. And then because the British people are the ones that vote for whether or not, the contestants do these really gross trials every day, it's probably in your best interest to do these interviews to try to show yourself as like a likable person and someone that people, wouldn't want, having bugs dumped on them. And Jamie Lynn apparently just refused to do any of it. Like, she just flat out was like, "I'm not doing interviews." And then now that she's there, she's, like, isolating herself from the other people. I watched a clip where someone was telling her who the other people were because she didn't know who anybody was. Like, she didn't look up who the other celebrities were. And it's like, I don't understand how, if she's trying to do this thing where she's trying to rebrand herself or fix her image, why she's being this way. Because all it's doing is reinforcing what everybody already believes about her, that she's an entitled diva, that she expects everything to be handed to her. And she's so out of touch with reality, it's insane. I don't get it. I do not get it. And I'm so over her and her sob stories about everything. And then at the same time, watching her do this behavior, which in my opinion is self-destructive. Does that make any sense, producer sister? Like, it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting. I am going to end the poll. We are still at 100% for continuing this saga. So I guess that's what's happening. I guess that is what we are doing. Well, I'm going to keep this stream going for probably another 15 minutes or so. If you guys have any questions you want to send in, anything you want to ask me, any last minute support, anything you want to do, now is the time. No, I think we're okay. We're good. Yeah. So I will give you guys a moment to ask any questions you have or whatever. Be very happy to have that conversation with you. I always love just like our talk time because I find we end up having these really strange conversations that you really don't have other places. And I love that. I love that for us. Just being the weird people. It's pretty great. Oh my goodness. I do want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in to what I called the distraction stream on Thursday while I was waiting for Lacey while she was in surgery. It really meant a lot to me. And I can tell you guys the ratio of how many members we have with how many views that stream got was astronomically high. And it just makes me so happy that you guys that are members, whether or not you have, decided to join membership yourself or it's been gifted to you, that you all chose to be there with me and to support me and to have that time together. And that's to me is just absolutely amazing. And Also, just a lot of people seem to really enjoy it too. I think we had a good time, and that really means a lot to me. And so thank you very much to all of you guys for doing that. General Scott, thank you so much for the super sticker of the one up. Chomp, 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 chomp. Very much appreciate that. Oh, Soki. You just saw that cut through. We'll be there for you. Starts to pour. Yeah, thank you. It's so cute. So yeah, and if you are a member and you didn't see the stream on Thursday, I put up a stream that is on the Space Angels only playlist. You can see that on the main page of my channel. And basically what happened was I sat down here and we went through a supersized what the what of funny stuff and laughed about silly things and helped distract me until we got the call that Lacey was ready to be picked up because I was so nervous. And I think too it's also just been like in June my other dog Charlie had a health issue that we had to go to emerge in the middle of the night. And that then was followed by 2 weeks of actually longer than that, weeks of recovery for him. That it was messy, it was uncomfortable, it was a lot of things, and then he had to have surgery, and then he had to have that recovery period, and now Lacey has had to have surgery, and now she's in a recovery period, and I just kind of feel like it's been months and months and months of, the stress of, are the fur babies going to be okay? And I think Lacey is showing me over and over that she's going to be okay, which I very much appreciate, and it's very nice to see. So I think just my nerves are fried when it comes to that. Is no more. No more. I don't want to have to go back to the vet. I don't want to go back to the vet. It's too much. It's too much. Oh. Alrighty. Just looking here. Oh, thank you so much. Tyrana just sent in a super chat. Another one. Because I think you, or super sticker. I thought you sent one in earlier. The one up. Chomp chomp. I'm going to get a hippo. I'm going to get a little hippo that hangs out behind me. I'm going to have to. We need hippos. Oh my gosh, Soki. Yeah. Okay, so for the next What the What saga, explaining the Kingdom Hearts storyline, that could be, you know what, that would be a fun April Fool's thing to do. Like, sorry?
The next comment.
Oh gosh. Just, yeah. Marion, I don't think we have 73 hours, Soki. I know. It's just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. But yes, thank you, Tyrana. I very much appreciate that. Oh, is it? Yeah, Shauna Brown. Love me a good house hippo. Yep. Katie Artist, a house hippo. Yep. Ange said, I feel it, Kim. My dog has been sick on and off all year. 2 vets and a bunch of tests. No luck yet. Yep. It's just, oh. And it's like you want to give them everything. It is just so difficult. And it's also just, I am someone that I can handle watching things like surgery. I've done this a number of times. If I have a loved one that is going to have surgery, I will actually go and find a video of that surgery and I will watch it in full. And try to understand it exactly, like of what's happening, what's affected, and then really try to understand how to how do I put this? And then try to understand what the recovery is going to look like and have visual in my head as far as like, okay, this can't happen because this was done. And then that helps me not be so afraid of anything because I understand it. It's disarming it. And because of that, I've looked at a lot of things that I think a lot of people would find to be incredibly graphic, but it doesn't bother me because I just see it as medical. The first time I saw Charlie with when I'm going to say red stuff coming out of anything. I kid you not, I passed out. And I have seen so much worse, obviously. Like I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. But that, no. Puppy red stuff, not I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And that for me was quite a discovery for me to have. It was not nice. It was not nice. Yeah. See? Oh, Jackie Swan, thank you so much for the gifted membership. That is so kind of you. What does that bring us to, producer sister? If you don't mind me asking. 28. That's awesome. Welcome to the 28 new Space Angels today. I'm so happy to see you here. Thank you, Jackie, for being so generous. It's very, very kind of you. Yeah, it's Marion just said it always means more when feelings are involved. I totally agree with you, but it's also like I've done that with each of the surgeries my father has had to have with cancer. I myself am potentially going to have some form of surgery in the coming years, and I have watched a few of those and I'm fine. But it's when it comes to puppies, it's the puppies. The puppies. It's just no. Unmistakable Jen just said, are you referencing mostly a Canadian thing? Yes. Okay. So I can explain this. In Canadian culture, we have a thing. I literally just can pull up the Wikipedia page for it so you know that I'm not making this up. It's enough that it has its own Wikipedia page. It is called the House Hippo. And it was a commercial that was a public service announcement, a PSA, produced by Concerned Children's Advertisers, that basically was trying to teach kids not to believe everything they saw on TV, even if it looked really convincing. So the commercial went through this idea that instead of having like a mouse in your house or like a little rodent of some kind living in your house, you actually had a house hippo. It was a miniature tiny hippo, and the hippo, would steal stuff off of your counter, and it would nest in your closet, and it would do all these things. And the idea was that that there are no tiny hippos, so you knew that this was ridiculous, but it did look very real at the time. So it was just trying to tell kids that like it looked real, but you knew it couldn't be real. And that's why you have to be careful about what you watch on TV. So when I talk about things that I'm like, people lie, people say things that are out of context, people don't give the full story. Sometimes clickbait is a thing, all this type of thing. And it's important to be diligent and to really be critical of the things that you're watching and to check the research and to know things for yourself, because this world be full of house hippos. Full of house hippos. I'm wondering if there's like a better picture of it I can find. And I believe they did like another version of it later, to like update it for the internet realm. Let me pull up. I got a better picture of it I can show you guys. Well, it's supposed to be better, but it's pixelated AF, so not really. But I mean, it is like a 90s commercial. It's not going to be high def. But yeah, so there's like the teeny tiny little house hippo that walks through your house. And we know that there's no such thing as that. So yeah, no such thing as the house hippo. But it looked real. So that's the idea. That's the idea. Kyle asked, how much do we need to donate to make a 24-hour stream for Kingdom Hearts? Jokes. I wouldn't wish that on you. I mean, I could probably do it. I'm not going to lie. I probably could. I would not be doing it to completion. I would not be doing it to 100%. Oh, gosh. And honestly, I feel like it would be like me saying, like, I love this game. And then I get to like every battle and go, oh my gosh, I hate this battle.
Yes.
And that would go on for like 24 hours. Me being like equal parts, I love this and I hate this. And it would just go back and forth. It would be ridiculous. Oh, yeah. And that's why there's all the little hippos. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, unmistakable Jen. Okay, gotcha. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, so it was kind of one of those things I talked about it a long time ago, and it is very much a Canadian thing that we're all like, if you were around during that time and you watched TV, like you saw that this clip, and it was so funny that I think people just talked about it. So it be what it be. Marion, if you do them all on easy mode, it wouldn't be too stressful. If I did them all on easy mode, I would honestly be terrified that people would just be like, of course, she's a girl and she's on easy mode. Yeah. And I'd be like, then I'd feel like I had something to prove. And then I would become obsessive. And then it would become a 48-hour stream. And by the end of it, my eyes would be bloodshot. I would be screaming, crying, everything. It would be an absolute disaster. I don't know. I don't know about like that whole thing for me. I hate that attitude that some people have about girls in gaming. That like that it's always assumed that's like it has to be girl games, so there's no way she could actually be good at it. There's no way she could do that or whatever. And that bothers me so much because it's absolutely ridiculous. And I really struggled with it as a kid because I definitely grew up in a time where video games were for boys. And the only video games for girls were like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen games, and that was it. And I never felt welcome in spaces to do with gaming because of my gender. And that has gotten a lot better over the years, granted. But it's still like that's a thing for me. That still bothers me a lot because I just remember feeling so out of place as a kid and that like I'd want to talk about these things and I'd want to get into them, but I never felt like I belonged in it. But thankfully that is getting better. I don't know if anybody else ever felt that way about it, but it's like especially like when you looked at like remember like Spike TV and the video game awards thing that they did, if you guys ever saw that whole thing. Yeah. Soki, me thoroughly destroying stuff with the rage of Kratos just for the fun of it. Why not? Break stuff. Break stuff. KDR74. Yep, same with the geeky stuff like comics. Oh, 100%. Liam, that's sexist. How dare you? It was very sexist back in the day. It was. It was. It was. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So yeah, Marion just said I can see that. Definitely a lot better than it used to be. It has been. And I think some of that ultimately boiled down to game companies like money. And if you're going to isolate 50% of the population, that's going to affect your bottom line. Don't do that. I think it worked out at the end. Wayne Shaftesbury. Hey, Kim. Hi. Good to see you. Is it Sage Warrior? I played games back in the day, 80s Atari, and I was good at them. I just don't get into the newer ones. I love Joust and Centipede and those kinds of games. It's a whole other animal now, lol. I mean, I think the thing is like, I think with casual gaming, for lack of a better term, like the games that you can play on your phone, I think a lot of people have started to learn that I think a lot of people have been starting to learn that gaming in itself, regardless of your age, skill level, gender, whatever, like that it's about fun. It's about fun. And I think too, we also live in a world now where okay, I hope nobody throws anything at me for this. Let me finish my thought. I think right now, in the world of movies and television, our options of what is coming out can be kind of limited. And what I mean by that is that studios are nervous to take risks on things that they don't feel are proven to make money. So they are going to stick with franchises, they're going to stick with things that will appeal to the masses as opposed to a group of people. And so that storytelling element isn't always the strongest. Whereas with video games right now and the rise of independent developers and companies, it is so interesting to see how many of these stories are now being brought to life through video games. and that we are getting some, and I'm not including Kingdom Hearts in this, in all fairness, but just some of the best, well thought out storylines that are just absolute perfection. And then the way that you can kind of like through a game process, it is one thing to watch a movie for 2 hours and to feel emotionally connected to the characters. And if something happens that's like devastating and you cry about it and everything else, like that's a whole thing. When you play a video game and you've spent like 15 hours walking in the shoes of the main character of this, and then something terrible happens, you are devastated. The way that these stories are told through this medium, I think rivals cinema. And it's so much easier now to be able to get a game out with a story and to create that experience than it was 20 years ago. And for that reason, I feel like the gaming industry, that I think that's part of why it is so profitable and it makes so much money, is because people are ready for escapism. It's such a different level of escapism, and the storylines are so incredible. It's just I understand why gaming is getting so much more popular and why so many more people are getting interested in it, because they should. Because it's so good. It's so good. Oh my gosh, Molly. Only game I played was Olympic Games on PlayStation with the hubby, and I beat him at javelin. I got so excited I broke my nose by hitting my face with the controller. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry, Molly. That sounds very unpleasant. I'm assuming you're okay now. But yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Blake Shaftesbury, I'm not a gamer as such, but there's a lot of creativity and work to put into that. Oh, 100%. There's so much. So much. Yeah, I think you guys are talking that you loved Kingdom Hearts, Liam and Soraya. Yeah, we've definitely had our Kingdom Hearts moments here. Oh my gosh, Soki, Final Fantasy gives me emotional damage. Emotional damage, especially the last ones. The Xenoblade series as well. Xenoblade is one I've actually never played. I couldn't get my hands on it originally when it came out, like when I was younger. They straight up did not have it at my video game store, and I would check regularly because I really wanted to. But if I remember correctly, those games are long. They're long. They got a lot. Oh gosh. General Scott, word of advice: do not play Grand Theft Auto for 6 hours and then decide to drive anywhere. The evil thoughts will win. Do you have stories, Scott? Don't do the things in real life that people do in Grand Theft Auto. That's just a good rule to live by. That's just a good way to go. Yeah. Yeah, Mary just said lots of real impactful games out there, 100%. A Mandalorian, yes, and better graphics in games. If I can play a game that looks better than a movie, I'm in. Exactly. Oh, Unmistakable Jen. I used to watch my ex play God of War just for the storyline. It was very interesting. That game is quite, like it's, you get very immersed in it. My fella has played God of War, and I really didn't have a lot of interest in playing it myself, but I mean, anytime it was on, I was just like almost like in awe of what they had created. And I would assume the storyline was very good as well. I've heard very good things about it. Kelbear, Kim, have you played Final Fantasy 16 yet? It's so good. No, I have not. I've made a kind of like a commitment for myself in the past number of like weeks that I want to try to prioritize playing games again for myself, because I think it's good for me just to have a break and to think about something else. And I've been so like work for a long time now. It's like, no, okay, I need to breathe. I need to do stuff. Oh, Molly said I had to have surgery to repair it. Oh no, I'm sorry. That sucks. Let me take a look here. Marion, I went to several concerts just to listen to Final Fantasy music. A+ taste. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love this. I feel like I don't know. Are we moving into a gaming category at this point a little bit? We have fun with it. We have fun with it. I think it's good. Well, guys, we've been going for over 3 hours. I need to stop. I'm sure producer sister needs to stop. And yeah, this has been a fun stream though. I think I've had a good time. I hope you guys have had a good time. I would ask you guys if you would be so willing when I do stop the stream, if you guys would not mind reloading and leaving a comment below the video. It means a lot, and it really tells YouTube that is engagement with this stream, not only as a stream but as a standalone video, and it makes a big difference for me at the end of the day. And I would very much appreciate it if you guys would be willing to do that for me. But I will see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you all so much for being here. I had so much fun. Thank you to everybody who liked, subscribed, left a comment in the chat, sent in a super sticker or a chat or a membership. Thank you very much to Shauna and Scott for your support that you've sent the other way, or through PayPal. Also, thank you, Heather. I just saw sent a PayPal as well. You guys are incredible. I so appreciate it. It really helps me to be able to do what I do. And we love you guys so much. And we will see you on Wednesday, unless something changes, and I'll let you guys know. But that's it. Bye, guys.